and I am back with another stream. It's just going to be me on this one, I'm pretty sure, as I am going to try to give you guys a little bit of an update on what's going on with my the roster that I'm, and it's actually more than a roster. It's a MyNBA fictional roster and just an entire fiction league. So I'm kind of bringing you guys up to date on what that is, what I've done in terms of with players and everything. Hopefully I get some folk in here who will be willing to watch me to kind of go through what I've done already. You'll see a little bit of it on the screen already. And so, yeah, we're going to dive into this. The last video, I showed you the first team that I created. The logo, of course, was done by Dylan Fuller of Eyeball Empire. And I showed you my team, my league logo, which I kind of created, which is probably the reason why it's not quite as cool as he is. But, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, we did that. So today is going to really be mostly focused on the players and, like, what I'm doing on that end. So let me see. It's a couple things here that I gotta do on this video side. I give everybody obviously a chance to get in here a little bit and just kind of mess around with see what's going on. But in the meantime, it's a couple settings on the back end that I need to address, which is something that pretty much, I don't know. It's just a way that for what the way YouTube is right now, you have to do a little bit of this at first. So, which I think is kind of stupid, but it is what it is. There are worse things in the world than this. So, but I think I got it in order now, and then we can jump into it. But I am going to give people a little bit of a chance to get into the stream. Now, I will tell you, I did monetize this stream. So what that means is over the course of time while you're watching it today, you may get a pop-up or commercial come in or whatever. Try not to to dip out on those. Go ahead and give me the 30 seconds or whatever before, that'll pop you back in, because, obviously this stuff doesn't cost anybody any money. But that does help me a little bit in my little venture here. So if you can give me a little bit of a hold out there, and then it'll be cool. But I appreciate everybody that's coming in. Too Easy Cam said, what's the update? So I'm just going to be showing you guys what's up with the rosters. To Ray, what's going on? Appreciate you. What's going on, Lurk King? Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Just show you guys that. Let me mute this, so you shouldn't be able to hear like an echo or anything. And then make sure I'm set here. So I'm actually my plan is to show you guys the entire process of creating a player, what I do, what Junior and I have been doing through this whole thing, to kind of make it, I don't know, I guess I want to say to make it cool. And then also what we've done just to kind of diversify this, because I have, over the course of the last few weeks, decided to make this like the best roster, in my opinion, the best roster I've ever created. So it's for a few different reasons, but yeah, I'm trying to make this the best roster I ever created. So you'll see right now that there are some teams, still NBA teams here on this roster. You can't put custom teams in from a roster level. You have to wait until you get into a MyNBA to do that. Now, before I go any further, I have to talk about the bad state that the MyNBA mode is in currently, while we're still waiting on a patch to come through to fix a lot of this stuff. One reason I have been delayed, so to speak, is because MyNBA has a lot of problems. So I actually don't want to start a MyNBA and start working within creating the scenario there, because it's still experiencing a lot of crashes. Things are going wrong when you just scroll through your roster while you're in a MyNBA, and those things have to be fixed first. I do know for a fact that they are working on those things, but until they're fixed, I kind of am very hesitant to do anything in there, besides maybe create some custom team designs that I can like upload onto the servers that I can go back and get later. But I don't want to have anything on there right now from a MyNBA standpoint that could get wiped away. So there's that. But yeah, Teray, I had tweeted about it, about Pat Williams' debut yesterday. I thought he looked great, man. You know, very poised, very mature game. Considering that he's 19 years old, the second youngest dude in the draft, I thought he just showed fantastic, you know, abilities and poise for his first NBA game. So I was really pleased with that. So, like I said, the teams here obviously are going to be NBA teams, but and the players that are on these teams, they will not be like necessarily on the same team. This is just my way to get them on the roster. I could have just put them as in the free agent pool, but I chose not to do that. I chose to put them on actual teams, because then if I load this roster up, like Junior and I can play like pickup games with them and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I did that. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into this. Now, this was the first guy we created, is Martez Chandler. And like I said, I'm going all out to try to make this like the best roster that I've ever done. And I've looked at what some other people have done in the way of fictional rosters, and they have like even written little scripts out and like bios, little short bios for the players. And at first I wasn't going to do that, but then I decided, I said, you know what? I'm a writer anyway, and I've been tossing back and forth the idea of writing some fiction, because I'm a journalist, so I write, you know, articles all the time, but been tossing back and forth the ideas of writing some fiction. So I said, why not kind of exercise my character creation, you know, abilities in this format? So, man, I'm telling you, it's a pandemic. I feel blessed just to be able to be home, be, you know, doing this kind of stuff with my kid, and just, you know what I'm saying? So I'm, you know, outside of work, I'm kind of pouring myself. I mean, this is partially work, but outside of work, you know, I'm kind of pouring myself into different projects. And that's how, you know, I think that's a good thing for everybody to do. Whatever your interest is, as long as it's not self-destructive, your projects are, right about now is the time to really be kind of getting into that kind of stuff. Don't worry about what nobody else says or thinks. Like I said, as long as it's not destructive, don't hurt you or nobody else, it's a good thing to do. So we got Martez Chandler. He's one of the highest rated dudes in our roster so far, 94. I don't even know what his player type is, because he's huge, he's strong, pretty quick, not the greatest three-point shooter, but he got a really smooth jump shot animation. So he can get it done. So he's one of the highest rated players. Then we got D'Angelo Blue, who is his player DNA, and I'm gonna show you guys what I do, how this works. But his player DNA started off as Magic Johnson, but he actually got a little bit more athletic. Not a fantastic shooter either, but decent enough. And so he's in there, huge point guard, really good, you know, good creative player. So we're going to see how he pans out. You might have saw him in this one video that we did, Junior and I did. We were playing at the Blacktop. He did a move where he did a spin move, a nutmeg on a guy, and then ended up doing a contact dunk in the lane. It was nasty. What's going on, Bill? Christian Weber, appreciate you. All right, next guy we got is Travis Baldwin. You might have saw him too. His player DNA was based on Bill Russell. The only thing of it is when I did my randomization aspect, he didn't get any badges. So that kept his rating down quite a bit. I don't know if you guys realize this or not. I don't know how many of you guys have delved into some player creation, but on 2K, badges drive the rating up. So some of the stuff that affects ratings that you may not realize affect ratings is the badges, height, weight, depending on the position. All of that can affect the overall rating, but badges definitely do. So you can have a guy with the same exact ratings, like attribute ratings, but if he has significantly less or more badges than somebody with the exact same ratings, it will go up or down, and the height will affect that too. So, but Travis Baldwin was a really good defensive player. So I dug that creation. This one is Israel Avila. I had to actually drop his weight, because when I first made him, he was a little thick, you know, but when I looked at like the strength rating and stuff, which is kind of what I base some of the weight on, that's how I make the bodies. He wasn't, you know, didn't really match that. He's okay. Decent guy, could shoot the three a little bit, got good defense. But I put up a video on Twitter. I was playing against this dude. I did a spin move. Now you can't face scan for franchise mode, unfortunately, Repented Heart. That would be kind of dope if you could, but yeah, you can't do that. You also, what I really wish you could do though, even more so than face scan, I really wish you could upload a facial image of somebody, kind of the way you can do in WWE 2K, and I think there's a couple other games, maybe one or two other games that have allowed you to do that. That would really be dope, because now you're not kind of at mercy of the templates and whatever sculpting you can do with the current templates. You can do a little bit with the current templates, but in my opinion, the biggest areas of need for them when it comes to upgrading and giving you more options for a creative player is in the eyes and in the nose and just that middle portion of the face. It would be a lot better if you could change the shape of eyes, make them, I mean, you can change the shape, but the variations just aren't big enough. Move the eyes up and down, the size of the eyes. Same thing with some of the noses and the cheek areas. So you get to the point where a lot of people it's really hard to make it where people don't look alike. I know kind of why I think it's limited that way, because 2K has that emoting engine, and the eyes and nose and mouth can't kind of move out of certain regions, or the emoting won't work. So I know that's kind of part of it, but I would love to see them get some updates on that end. This is Sergio Castro. He does not have the highest ratings, but I'm going to tell you, when you are playing with some of these characters that I created, some guys just feel better than the other ones. Yeah, UFC has that too. Yep. Some guys just feel better than the other guys and like just slicker to play with. This dude feels slick as ever to play with. When I was creating him, I didn't even have an idea of what he was going to look like at first. But as I kept going through it, what's going on, Amari? As I kept going through it, it just kept popping into my head was like prime Delonte West. And so that's just kind of how he ended up coming out. That wasn't my idea at first, but it turned out that way. And he offensively, he got some game on the real. Tracy Beaumont is one of the shooters that we got. I have no idea who he looked like. He looked like Mike Epps let his hair grow out or something. I don't know, but he can shoot. I played a game against, I can't remember if Junior was playing that game or not, but he got hot in the corner. And you'll see once we start putting some of these games out that we play, you'll see like because we use certain players' DNA and they have like some of their emotes. And then the style and the body type, it's like the players kind of get a little, on-court personality a little bit. It's actually kind of cool to watch. This is Tyrese Alvarez. Some of these guys, if I can remember who they're patterned after with the player DNA, I'll tell you, but I can't remember some of them off the top of my head. But I actually have a spreadsheet with it all on there. So I'll probably, maybe one day I'll put that out as when the roster is actually finished. But some of these guys aren't the greatest players, but you can't have a league full of superstars, because then that just the balance wouldn't be there, right? You can't just have everybody be like LeBron. That's what makes the great players really stand out, because everybody's not like that. Most of these guys are kind of like role player kind of guys who do one or two things well. And that's really kind of how the league is. The NBA is that way. You got a bunch of players that do one or two things really well, and then you got a handful of guys who do three or four things, and maybe one or two or three guys that do like just about everything well. This is Deacon Cassidy. He don't do that much well at all. The ratings come out randomly the way we do it for the most part, and he got the short end of the randomization stick. Still got a cool render though. He got a distinct look. I can tell you right now, there's nobody else in our league yet that looks like him. Usman Dotson, I love the name, and I was thinking and hoping that he came out good. He is not a very good player. It's okay though, but he's not trash, but not making the whole league today, Amari. What I'm doing right now is going over the players that I've made, which is well over 100 something. So that's why I'm not spending a whole bunch of time on every player. I'm kind of going through it because I am going to put the whole roster out for people to download if they wanted to have a fictional roster. And when they have that whole roster, like I was saying earlier, I may actually put out a little thing that gives like a little brief scouting report on each player, especially some of the really great ones. So kind of just add some life to whoever downloads it experience. Some people like fiction rosters and they really want to go in depth with them. Some people don't. They only like straight NBA stuff, and I see it either way. But for those people who do like fiction rosters, I'm gonna try to give you something dope. This is Frankie Combs. He can't do nothing but dunk for the most part. That's all he got is the dunk. He'll throw it down on you. That's about it. 6'9", 230. That's what he brings. But some of these creative players came out looking pretty sharp. This is Milton Cannon. No, he's not good. No, I thought I got him mixed up with somebody else. He's not good. He's not a good player. He's 6'8", 235, but he kind of just there. And again, they will not be playing for the real NBA teams. I just have them on real NBA teams now because I haven't rebranded anyone. Let's move to the next team, which is for right now, it's the Bucks. This is one of my favorite players on the game ones that I created. Yeah, people love fictional rosters on the show. That's a huge thing. Like not Long Balls and Legends. Bacon's roster is really good. Honestly, Bacon's roster, I had thought about doing this before. I've actually thought about doing it on football, basketball, and baseball, Madden, MLB The Show, and 2K. I did it on 2K a few years ago, but I didn't blow it all the way out like this. But when I saw Bacon's roster, he actually helped inspire me to go ahead and just do it this time on this one. So, definitely a shout out to him. But this is Joey Dominguez, and I can tell you that his player DNA was Mark Eaton, but we do still randomize the height. So that's why he's not 7'5", he's 7 foot, but he has pretty much most of Mark Eaton's attributes. But he's got his own badges, some of them crossed over with him, but he is a defensive beast. And just the whole look of this dude, I think is dope. I tried to have as much representation from as many different ethnic groups as possible. So I got, Latinos, Hispanics, which is not the exact same thing. For anybody who belongs to those groups, they know it's not the same thing. I got Hispanics, Latinos, African Americans. We got Europeans. I got Japanese, Chinese. I got I tried to come from just about every, ethnic group I could even think of. Several different countries in Africa. I tried to come with it, right? So this is Xander Goldwire. This is one of my favorite scorers that we created because he's super tall, fast as ever. The randomization gave him a 99 acceleration. So the rest of his speed is not quite like that, but the first step is ridiculous. And then he also has a pretty good shot motion too. So I don't know. I'm able to really kind of get decent greens with this set shot 3 Kevin Love. This is not like a lower base and upper release that would probably work well in the park unless you was a big. But for this particular guy and the way he dribbles and plays, it works good. Braden Hamilton. Now this dude is only 5'4", and so that's a problem for me. The super short guys just don't work out for me, but he's fast. Because he has the player DNA of De'Aaron Fox, but he's only 5'4". Zhu Wang has I told you I tried to come with everybody. He has player DNA of Nikola Jokic, but there are some differences there. I love this player creation. I think I did this one. Some of these Junior did, some of them I did. I love this one. Love the way this character plays in the game too. It's pretty dope. Kadeem Evans Jr. said I made him look like an old head. I think he kind of looked like Taj Gibson with a beard. But he is one of the best pure shooters. He's a stretch big for sure, but he's one of the best pure shooters that we created so far. Then we got Blade Head. That name just makes me laugh every single time. You know what? His player DNA was Kevin Garnett, but he came out only 6'7", so it's not quite the same. But yeah, and he's got on low top ones, Air Force Ones, not Jordan ones. So that's a pretty interesting shoe choice. Atlas Irwin, straight defense. Now he's actually kind of old though. He looked like my man. What's my man to do the real super funny comedy impersonations? DBD. I met the brother, so I feel bad that I don't remember his name. DB. I watch his videos all the time. He was like, in the playoffs, this is LeBron with J.R. Smith after this. You guys are going to know who I'm saying. Somebody put in the chat who I'm talking about. But that's who he reminded. The face came out, reminded me of him. But he's got straight great defense, don't handle the ball that well, can shoot it pretty decently. But Yeah, but facially, that's who he reminds me of. Later on in the process, I started modeling some of the people's faces after actual, like, real famous people, and I started doing that to try to increase the amount of diversity in the league. So this is Lamar Howe. He ain't modeled after nobody. He ain't that good. We didn't even spend a lot of time on him. He literally is the only dude that we created that ended up getting 0 badges. Because one thing we did was, I think I had a comment from somebody. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had watched one of the videos and they had commented and they were like, RDC. Yes. RDC. That's exact. RDC World. That's who I was talking about. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. Mark. Yeah. He's really cool too. I met him in LA at a 2K event. They had this 2K event in this mansion. The mansion was insane. It was me. It was Chris Smooth was there. Man, everybody was there. Man, it was a bunch of people there. Josh Hart was there. Andre Drummond was there. Kyle Kuzma was there. There's a bunch of people. But I played Mark from RDC World in like the first ever game of that version of 2K, which I think it was either 19 or 18. I can't remember which one it was. It was in 19 or 18. But yeah, he was really cool, really cool. But I had a comment on one of these videos where somebody was like, you got all these badges on some of these bad players, and some of these guys got a bunch of badges. So what I ended up doing was I kind of ended up having like a badge requirement level. So even though my randomization might have said you get this badge, if your attributes weren't up to a certain level in that particular category, then you didn't get a badge. So I went back and I changed that after I read that comment because I thought that was actually made some sense. So this is Drake Ellison. He does have a lot of badges. He actually is decent. He got a couple little tragic flaws in terms of his overall athleticism, but I think he's a little bit better than a 76 the way he actually plays on the court. Rolando Ferguson looked like a mixed martial artist, but either like he and Benson Henderson family or something. But he's too short. He's only 5'7", 150, so that is a problem. His arms is long, but they ain't that long. Bear Gare. This is Barry Garrison. He Junior hates this character. Oh my God. He can't even stand when I say his name. He's another little one. 5'7", 163. So here's the thing. I was getting too many short guys. So I think I got about 5 or 6 dudes that's under 6 feet, maybe a little bit more than that. So what I did was I took that possibility off of the randomization table because I was like, okay, this is coming up too much. We got enough little bitty guys. And I ended up doing the same thing with super tall guys too, because you're going to find in a couple, when I go through a couple more teams, there's going to be some giants in there. So this is Bear Gare though. He is like one of my like sentimental favorites because he's just looked like he don't supposed to be playing no basketball at all. Not even a little bit, but we're going to keep him on there. Christian Harmon, he's so trash. He's so trash. I was doing his ratings and doing the randomization. I thought he's going to come out good. He's so trash. His shoes look heavy. His shoes look like stormtrooper boots. I don't know what's going on. These shoes look like he's supposed to be chasing Princess Leia or something in these shoes. He on the dark side of the force. I don't know, but it ain't good. He only got 3 badges. He's trash. All right, let's move to the next group. And here's where absolute freak of nature. Yes, look at the height, look at the weight. I'm telling you, randomization. I did not set this dude up. So his randomization player DNA, pick and roll defense. I know that they are looking at some stuff on gameplay currently. But I don't know exactly when they expect that to be completely fixed. There's honestly, man, the list of things that they're trying to get a handle on. I know they're prioritizing like crashes more than anything. So they got most of that stuff in the other modes. But I know that right now MyNBA is the one that they're really trying to mostly deal with because that one's got really a stupid amount of crashes right now. Just being totally honest, the amount of crashes on my NBA right now is just really is not cool. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. It ain't cool. I mean, I think everybody appreciates all of the stuff they added into the mode, right? I think everybody does. But it doesn't matter if it don't work, And I do understand that we're in a pandemic. And I do understand that it's a brand new overall console generation. And I also understand that the game has only been out for a month today on PS5. I get that. But that's because of those things is the reason why I'm not saying, oh, this is just a complete bag of trash, whatever. And also, I really do enjoy the gameplay. I think the gameplay is fire. But as far as my NBA concerns specifically, if it doesn't get fixed soon, especially even by like the beginning of the NBA season, which is December 22nd, I mean, preseason started last night. If it's not fixed soon, then you really are now cutting into the overall enjoyment level for the mode, period. Like, we've already lost 10 days, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Of being able to enjoy the game, the mode, as well as, as much as we like. You know what I'm saying? We've already lost 10 days. So that's the thing. And so the we in a pandemic thing, Prince, I agree with you. I agree with you on one hand. But here's the thing. You can't say we in a pandemic when you charge people money for something. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. When you sell a product and you promise something and then you don't deliver it, you can't say, hey, you can't expect that from us. We're in a pandemic. Nah, you can't do that, because if that's going to be what you fall back on, then either the price should have been decreased or it should have been free. Because if you charge me the same price that you would when we not in a pandemic, then by you charging that same price means that I should have the same expectations. And then you could make the argument that I should have even higher expectations, considering the economy across the world, across the country especially, has been negatively impacted. But in that same time period, 2K has prospered because people have turned to gaming so hard. So while most of the world is struggling economically, 2K is prospering, charging the same amount of money for a product. That dynamic just doesn't open you up to be able to say, oh, but we're in a pandemic when you fall short or something. So, that's how the way I see it. So, I just don't see, you can't say that, nobody, you can't say that. Like I said, if you're going to say that, then the game should have been free or discounted. So, but the character that what's going on, Goods, Castle Ford, Sir Jam, appreciate you coming through. If you look, so this character here, he started off with a player DNA of Wilt Chamberlain, all-time Wilt Chamberlain. So he already, unless you're going to see how I do it, I'm going to show you in a second. Unless his randomization portion of his ratings came out like just terribly bad, he was already going to be good. But then when the hike came out, 7-6, it was just like, I'm telling you, me and Junior was playing with him. We was like, this is like not fair. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but it's not. Do y'all realize that Wilt Chamberlain, now this is not in his, this didn't come out in the randomization, but Wilt Chamberlain in NBA 2K21, the all-time version of him for the Warriors, has 88 perimeter speed. 88 lateral quickness. 88. Like, they gave Wilt Chamberlain, and I can't even say that they wrong, because Wilt Chamberlain is one of the greatest athletes ever. Wilt Chamberlain's in the Volleyball Hall of Fame. He was a high jumper. If you go to a YouTube channel when you get a chance called the Wilt Chamberlain Archives, I think it's called, or Wilt Chamberlain Chronicles, something like that, and it's got the most actual footage of Wilt Chamberlain that you'll ever see. Look at that, and you're going to see what kind of athlete we talking about. We're not talking about – see, some people, the Wilt Chamberlain that they know is the big guy with the Lakers, which was at the end of his career, and he was still a freak at that point too. But if you look at Wilt when he was with the Philadelphia Warriors and then with the 76ers, when we're talking about in the 50s and the 60s, we're talking about somebody who, in my opinion, would not have had any issue with the athleticism today, because I just believe he was just that much ahead of his time. I don't think he averages 50 points a game, but I definitely think he is not, if he's not the best center in the league, he's in the top 2 or 3. I just think he was just that much of a freak that while his competition was far beneath him and he didn't play against the same type of guys that he'd be playing with today, I just think he was just that far ahead of his time that even if you put those athletes out there, he still stands out as an elite dude. So I'll say all that to say, Teo Martin, that was where his player DNA came from, and he is a problem. He is a problem. Like, he does not have the highest rating of every dude that we created at a 93. But I don't know if there's any dude that we created that affects a game as much as he does. Like, we've been playing with different guys, and I don't know if there's nobody else. Will Chamberlain Archive. That's what it is. I don't know if there's anybody else who affect the game like Teo Martin. So I love the little design I did on him. I think it's dope. Carlos Mann is a shooter. And decent athlete, but his ball handling is not what you would want for a shooting guard, but he can definitely shoot. Ulysses Lincoln. Now, this dude, his player DNA was Ben Simmons, but the randomization only made him 6'3", and he still can't shoot. So he's got D, and he'll dunk you, but he's much shorter. So just imagine if Ben Simmons was 6'3" and didn't have any better shooting. He'd be this fella, Ulysses Lincoln. Heel Maynard is a really good shooter. He is, dude, I posted a picture of somebody dunking on somebody, and the dude's head was in the basket. It was his head. Heel Maynard's head was in the basket. He got put in the basket. He's good, though. He can shoot. His rim protection wasn't come through. So as I told you, I cut off the amount of diminutive players because Lincoln Lundy's 5'4". He's got too many little bitty fellas. You know, the league generally only has like 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys that are like under 5'10". So once I started seeing that was coming through too much, I was like, yeah, okay, we gotta do a little something about that. Now here's another free, and so the same restriction that I put on really, really short players, I had to put the same restriction on really, really tall players because I ended up getting too many really, really tall guys. So Kane McIlvain was actually the first really tall guy, and his height maxed out at 7'7". Junior made this dude. He looks like he is auditioning for the WWE or AEW or something. He's huge, and his player DNA was Aaron Baines, but he came out 7'7". He can shoot. Yeah, I know. A couple places, GameStop had it today, average Kentucky fan. So, and I suspect over the course of this month, there should be a lot of opportunities to grab them. So you just got to keep trying, bro. But yeah, that's Kane McIlvain. The next one is, what's going on, Sir Rowe? Appreciate you. Phoenix McMillan. We keep playing against him on in our little pickup games, and for whatever reason, despite the fact that his ratings are not that high, I don't know why he just keeps playing well. Like his 3-point shooting is only supposed to be okay, but we keep playing against him. He keeps knocking them down. I don't know what's going on, but he plays well above the ratings. Umar Mcdonald, I thought he was going to be really good, but the player DNA didn't like him that much. The randomization didn't like him that much. He's 6 feet tall, which is okay for the height point guard, but he's all right. He's all right. Lucas Luzolini. This is Junior. Junior created this dude from head to toe. I don't even know what he was doing. This dude is a strange looking fella. You know what? I never used the quick menus because I just got so used to doing it the way I had been doing it. So I don't even use those, but I have heard bad things about the quick menu. I'm gonna tell you another thing I see myself with the menus. Depending on what mode you're in, if you simply Yeah, they do got a lot of height on this team. But they won't actually be on the same team though. Goods. This is just where they are now until I scramble the rosters and put them out there for a fantasy draft. So, and then of course when I put the roster out, it'll be open. People can keep the rosters as they are, or they can put it into a fantasy draft, however it is they want to do it. So it'll be up to them. But I am going to upload the scenario. What's going on, Christine? I am going to upload the scenario. And when I upload the scenario, it'll have the team set like that. And so people can take them exactly as I have them, or they can just get the roster by itself and do whatever it is they want to do with it. So just flexibility. Yashi Macias, this is one of the dudes. At one point, I had a PR tattooed on his neck for Puerto Rico because he's Puerto Rican. Junior said it was a horrible tattoo, the worst tattoo he'd ever seen. So I took it off. But this dude can shoot. That's like his best thing. He definitely can shoot. So it seems like he shoots better than a B when I played with him. But yeah, this is one of my favorite characters. Junior can't stand him with the big red afro. Sundiata Kennedy. Now y'all tell me that ain't a cool name. Tell me it's not a cool name. Sundiata, he can do a little bit of everything. He don't do nothing great, but he does a little bit of everything. He's the only dude in the league with this hairstyle, and I think I may keep it that way because you just cannot have a bunch of people walking around with this hairstyle, and it's red. So there you go. Freckles, the whole nine. He's there. Jake Morgan, one of the worst players on the team, but in the whole roster so far. But he can shoot. That's all. That's his main contribution to everything is that he can shoot. He can put it in the basket from deep, but not else. I'm going to try to do multiple seasons because I do want the ages and stuff to matter, and the way me and Junior are doing, we're not playing 82 games. We're only playing a 29 game season, and we're not going to play for every team. Junior's going to have a team in the West, a team in the East, and same for me. And we're going to play all of our games only. I'll probably do like some simulations on some of the other teams just so I can kind of show you guys some highlights of what's going on in the league, so to speak. But Junior and I games, we won't be live streaming them all the time. Sometimes we might. You'll be getting mostly highlights of those, and then that'll be it. Yeah, he look like Stretch from from NBA Street. Again, he was just in the office because Coach Stretch stay on palm. What's that? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you one thing that I have seen though, Sir Jam, in doing these games with these players. Like, okay, so right now Teo Martin's on the Bulls, right? And so they're running Boylan's system. No, maybe they're running Donovan's system. Either way, right? Whoever system they're running, the Bulls don't have a dominant big. So he's essentially playing the role of Wendell Carter Jr. They don't have a lot of stuff in the offense to feed the post, but because Teo Martin is the best player on this team, when you watch the way the computer runs the offense, they go to him all the time. And I was a little worried about that because in past 2Ks, if you did an idea like this, where you've moved players around and did, you'd have guys who were like clearly the best player and the computer wasn't utilizing them. So I'm glad that doesn't go that way because I've seen it firsthand that they will cater their offense to the best player. So I don't know if that affects what you were talking about when you're saying you can't adjust the offense because the coach strategy stay on pound ball inside. I've noticed that just with it going freelance and running like the best plays available, that it kind of starts to try to get the ball to the best players more often. So that's something that I have noticed both, with the CPU basically. All right, the next one. Artel Peel, he is strictly a dunker. He can shoot a little bit, but can't handle the ball. This is something that I found. I don't know. It was a little different. Something with the his dunk package is a little weird based off of who he had. I don't know. It might have been a little bit of a mistake or something because he's supposed to be, his player DNA is supposed to be Purvis Short. But his dunk package ended up being like, and this was the dunk package that was set to Purvis Short. But Vince Carter's dunk package is set to Purvis Short. So that, if you know who Purvis Short is, that's not how he played. But it might have just been like a mistake or something that went in there. But for a creative player, it doesn't matter because he's not really supposed to be Purvis Short. He's Artel Peel. So he's a dunker. Best player on this particular group. Here's Barnaby O'Sullivan. I considered changing his name, but you don't want no problems. Let me just say that. You don't want no problems. Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want it with Barnaby. You don't want it with Barnaby. He puts people in the hospital just for no reason, But he's a pretty decent player. Can score on the insides, got good defense, great rebounder. Only got 3 badges, but he said it feels like a lot of the bad players are just shooters. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some guys just suck all around. Just, you know what I mean? Just suck. It's some guys just bad. I'm looking at it. He said maybe good players get underpaid, like when Curry got that first contract in 2012. If you do most, you should randomize contracts so some are free agents and bad players can have bad contracts and overpays. It's you know what, Amari? It's actually kind of working out like that anyway, right? So here's the thing. So a player might get a player DNA of a guy who has a big contract, but then once I do the randomization, he might not turn out to be as good as the guy whose contract he got. And so now you have a dude on a bad contract who is actually, is not a very good player. So he's, getting $32 million a year. He's just not very good. So that's that. And then you can have some guys who might be, a really good player. And then I do the randomization and he becomes a great player. And now his contract, it's a great contract because he's a killer until that ends. So I think that is already happening. This was one of the stars of the pickup game that Junior and I put out, Cleo Rivers. His player DNA was Donovan Mitchell, but in some ways I think he might have got a little bit better because he can pass, he could do a bunch of stuff. I think he's better than a 86, but yeah, he was one of my favorites. Herb Rawlings is a pretty basic dude, but still a good big at 7'1", 250. He's out here rocking the weapons, y'all. He got on Converse weapons. He took it back. His feet probably in trouble, but he took it back. Here's another too little guy. This is why, like I said, I cut it off. So at some point you're going to see you're not going to see any more little guys. And remember, these guys are not going to be on these teams. Casey Quinn, and then this dude can't even handle the ball, but he is pretty strong for his size. So I think the player creation was pretty dope too. At some point, I'm gonna tell you guys when I start modeling faces after people, and I'm gonna actually kind of see if you guys can guess who who it was modeled after. I doubt anybody will be able to guess most of these, but yeah, this is the best pure shooter on the roster. Eddie Nixon. He is modeled. His player DNA was Hubert Davis, and he ended up getting like a boost on certain areas that made him an even better shooter. But he got an A+ and 3. Actually, I think there might be somebody else that got a higher rating, but he got an 85 mid-range and 93 three-point shot. He doesn't do a bunch of other stuff too great. He did get that 87 offensive rebound. He got that from the randomization. So he's a really good offensive rebounder. Doesn't come into play that much because most of the time he's in the corner waiting on the 3. But it's there nonetheless, but he can burn it. And he had a really good jump shot motion too. I can't remember what it is because I randomized the jump shot too. So because I'm telling you guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but the jump shot is so important because a guy can have great ratings, but if their jump shot just isn't whatever, then they just not even the same guy anymore. That and the dribble animations matter a lot. The dunk packages matter if they have one. But like, if you don't have a good dribble size up, and you do have like the good ball handler ratings, it's not going to be as effective as a person who has the best animations. So the randomization part of this whole thing can really change a player's entire identity. And I kind of realized that doing this. Hasheem Preston is a glass cleaner. He is one of the most uncool players that we've created. Looked like he got some kind of disease in his beard. Certain things ain't growing in there. His beard looked like a baboon booty, and that ain't good. You don't never want your beard to look like a baboon booty, but Hasheem Preston's beard looks like a baboon booty, and I'm gonna change that because I'm not gonna change his beard. I'm just gonna get him off the screen so nobody else have to look at that. Manuel Riley. Now this one I was starting to fall into people starting to look a little bit too much like people, because there's a guy on the 76ers that I think he looks a little bit too much like. Hopefully they won't be on the same team. But Manuel Raleigh, I believe he's an okay shooter, just an okay guy overall. He's decent across the board, B's and mostly B's. He might only get a whooping for his report card on rebounding. Yeah, B's and C's, no, depending on the parent, that inside defense might get you a whooping. A C minus, you probably gonna get it. You probably gonna get a whooping. Brandon Mullen, his player DNA is based on Daryl Dawkins, but it's 20-year-old Daryl Dawkins, so he can dunk, and he got red tats. I think Junior did this. Yeah, Junior did. Junior gave the boy red tats. So that it's actually pretty cool, honestly. It's funny because it matches this current uniform. He won't be wearing that color, but he will dunk it. That's what he will do. Not much else, but he'll dunk it. Cayenne Motley, I believe Junior made this fella too. He's just kind of regular, not all that spectacular. See, Joe Anthony Plummer. Joe Anthony Plummer is a shooter. He is a shooter. He can't do a lot else, but he is a shooter for sure. I believe he also has a really strong shot motion too, or maybe he's the one that with the real weird one. No, his is nice. 71 base, 145 on the release, and it's a quick release timing too. And he's already tall. It's hard to get the contest on that. So he's better than a 76 to me. Victor Peacock. Now, if you go on inmate.com, you are probably going to see several people that look like Victor Peacock. I'm trying to tell you, man, did I make him or Junior? I can't remember who made him. But he came out looking like there had been some things going on in his life that he may not want to discuss in front of everybody. And just certain things you don't tell everybody. He's not a good player. Not too much. He's okay. He's a 70. And he's not good. No, I'm sorry. He's just not good. It ain't working out. But he's got potential. I don't know how it's going to manifest itself, but he's there. He's only 24. We'll see what happens. He got more life left to live. All right. Next one is, all right, I only gave, I think, 2 people with his hairstyle so far because it's pretty distinct. But this guy's pretty slow. But the skills are there. I can't remember who he's based off of, Charlie Simmons, but it's pretty slow. Siraji Todd looked like Derek Chisora, the heavyweight boxer, to me. Also had a high strength rating, so that's why he's thicker built, but he is a shooter. That tattoo on his arm is terrible. I don't know he looked like he got abducted by aliens and they put some sort of brand on him. I don't know what it is, but it's not good. But I can't remember who did that. But sometimes, hey, there's people in the NBA with tacky tattoos, so I had to properly represent everybody. Here's Caden Smith. He is salt and battery stuff. This is Caden Smith. He has the same dermatologist as Sergio Castro because they both got these things on their faces that we don't know how they get. He's a thick brother. He reminds me of Jared Sullinger, actually. Maybe it's because he's with the Celtics. He's light-skinned and he's a bigger dude, but kind of puts me in the mind of him a little bit. Jared Sullinger, in case y'all are wondering, had a real bad back injury, just couldn't come back from it. Had a promising rookie year too with the Celtics, but couldn't come back from it. Kaden Thorpe. He just looks like a nice guy, He's like a nice guy. He looks like the teacher always send him on errands in the hallway because she know he going to come right back. He ain't going to play in the hallway. 6'7", 235, decent player. This Celtics group, which is, like I said, is not going to be with the Celtics. This is not a very tight group. Just the randomization tool just wasn't good to them. Craig Vaughn. Okay. Craig Vaughn, 7'1", not great, just kind of there. The 78 overall. Kelvin Talley. Now, Kelvin Talley got D, and I think this is the one that's got D. And he's strong, little strong defensive point guard. But, yeah, he's got the A- on perimeter D. The other stuff is a little struggling, but he D's up. Miroslav Vesely. Junior hates this guy. He looked like some kind of Ewok, but don't judge him. Don't judge him. He's got mad post game though. If you look at his, the post hook is a 97 and the post fade is a 89. He can't do a lot else. But he can score down there. I am going to add expansion teams, but not in the first year. That's why I was saying we do plan on playing multiple seasons. And we kind of are going to do like a relegation kind of a system, not with teams, but what's going to happen is with Junior and I, because we both have 2 teams. So the team of ours that performs the worst, we will lose control of that team and we will have to take an expansion team in its place. So if Junior's Harlem Shake team is the worst, then he'll have to take control of the expansion team that's coming in. So the Harlem Shake will still be there. He just won't be controlling them anymore. So that's kind of like our own little internal contest that we're doing as we go through this. Alex Thames used to be somebody else, but we changed him because Junior had made a horrible creative player, and we just thought that it needed to get changed. He's a big point guard. He's actually, to me, his defense is the problem. That's where he got dinged. But he's pretty decent, actually. Got a decent shot. His jump shot motion is pretty cool. So Junior made this when we did a separate video for this because his player DNA was Marcus Smart. And he got stupid D. Junior dressed him up like he was some sort of mixed martial artist with this tape on his hands. But it actually kind of fits the way he plays because he plays like he's trying to fight. He's got a good jump shot, too, even though I'm talking about the jump shot motion is a B+. But the perimeter defense is where you can't put the ball down in front of this character because Davi Tianicius will grab it. He'll grab it up from you. Charles Sheldon is big trash, y'all. Just big trash. And when I say big, I do mean big because he's a chunky brother. The Celtics got the most chunky players of any team, any little group that we had in here today. I don't know how. They all got Corona calories, all of them. They just been in the house eating. And all of these brothers came out big. So I don't know what it is. Hamed Shepard, not that great. He looked like he ain't that great. And it all matches. Hard for him to get on the floor for any team probably, but this is what the randomization gave him. Jon Sears looked like Al Horford's little brother, but with a jazzy haircut, but the ratings didn't pop out good for him at all. Yeah, he got a little tattoo on his arm and everything. It didn't work out though. It just didn't work out. I think he don't do nothing too well, honestly. He is gonna be on punishment. He got C's, D's, and F's. And the bad thing about it is he got good potential. So his mama know he can do better, but he still got C's, D's, and F's. That is not going to fly. Next one, the Clippers. This is one of the best power forwards that we made, Nehemiah Wilder. His player DNA was Antonio McDyess, but he's 7'1", 240, got on them ones too. It's cool because when you watch him play, it's like it's not flashy. It's just straight business. He's a nasty rebounder. Might be like the highest rebounding guy we got on the in the thing, maybe except for Teo. So he out rebounds some people that would be bigger. So it's crazy. It's just his rebounding is ridiculous. This is another one of the freakish height guys. He was the best player in the pickup game that Junior and I did. So he ended up getting his own shoes. So that's what we're doing. We said when we play our little pickup games, the best player will get a signature shoe. So we call these the Jock ones. These are fly though. I ain't even gonna lie. I would definitely wear these shoes. Martez Chandler got the other one. So we're going to do another pickup game where we choose sides and we'll give out a pair to those guys as well. But yeah, Jock Wallace is a beast. His player DNA was David Robinson, but he turned out even bigger at 7'5", 260. The problem was he got hit on his rebounding. So his rebounding is actually not very good. And, and so that he gets boxed out real easily. But as far as just scoring, he's a beast. Darius Warren, I am a button guy. Well, I'm a button guy on jump shots. I'm a shot stick guy on dunks and layups. And I might use a shot stick on a fadeaway. But on straight jump shot, I'm a button guy. This is Darius Warren, whose player DNA is Dwayne Wade. But he's 6'8", 220, and his mid-range got destroyed. So he cannot shoot the mid-range. Can shoot the three, go to the basket, finish. Great defense, which is why his rating is still high, but that mid-range is problematic. This is one of the best guards, if not the best guard that we created. Deontay Wynn, strong as an ox, because he ended up getting a crazy strength rating, but his player DNA is Ja Morant. So the other stuff didn't get bothered. So imagine if Ja Morant was 6'5", 230. He said big for nothing. Right. So Deontay Wynn, I'm telling you. So imagine if Ja Morant was 6'5", 230. That's essentially what Deontay Wynn is. His jump shot is really strange, though, because he doesn't hardly get off the floor. It's kind of quick, but it's really just a hop. It's almost like he's on his toes. I got it timed pretty well, but it's a little easier to contest. Shot stick on line is definitely tough. It's definitely tough. That's like like I said, I do it on dunks and layups, but trying to do a shot stick on a fadeaway or a jump shot on line, dealing with the lag, nah, that's just asking to lose. Alan Walters' player DNA is Jerry West. He can't dunk, so that's a problem because Jerry West doesn't have like a dunk package at all. But he's got stupid D, and he can really shoot. He's got a super fast shot, so he's definitely tight. Maxwell Wheels. He got a nose on him, don't he? He can smell a thought. If you think it, he can smell it. It's a nose. He got one there. Only 6'7", 240 though. Pretty strong on the inside. Interior defender for the most part, but and a good rebounder, even though he's smallish. Harper Cummins, we don't like him that much. He reminds me of John Salmons, though. I got another guy that kind of looks a little bit like him, so we might need to give him a different hairstyle or something. But 6'8", 248, good, decent spot up shooter, decent perimeter defender, not as good a rebounder as you would like. Ellis Vargas is way better than this 79 rating. He got some wiggle for sure. Can dribble and score. His defense stuff is not that high, which is why they only gave him a 7. That's another thing to remember on here. When you don't have great defense, they will really tax the rating and drop it down some, because I really still kind of trying to figure out why his rating is this low, because, you know what? He has like some low pass IQ stuff. That's a big reason why. Rafe Dowling, I can't remember who he's patterned after. But 6'8", 215 pound point guard. You can shoot the ball a little bit. I won't go into everybody, but this is Guiyan Yang. I love this player. I can't remember who he's patterned after, but he can shoot the three. 7'5", 330. He looks like the Incredible Hulk, though. His hairstyle and his brow reminds me of the Incredible Hulk, but he is one of my favorite characters that we created. He's not like crazy awesome overall, but he's 7'5", 300 pounds, and he can shoot the three. He's a two-way stretch five. I was blocking some shots with him too, because he's got an A inside defense. But yeah, 32 years old, so I don't know how good or how long he's gonna be, because it's only a 77, but plays bigger. Judah Whitaker is a fantastic shooter, but his shot motion is some trash. He also don't look like the brightest brother in the world. He look like, don't give him a lot of parts. But this jump shot, he's got Marcus Camby's base, and but it's an A+3. So if you can master that, you can hit it. Now, see, I think this might have been my last little guy. This is when I was like, yeah, we got to get done with this, because we said we might as well go out with a bang. Gave him the little blonde dreads. But he ain't very good. He's the lowest rated player on this particular team. Most of it is because he is little. 5'5", 160. He didn't get it done. Next, Iman Corbett. Looked like Kevin Hart to me. He definitely looks like Kevin Hart. He has a weird jump shot motion, but he got all kinds of wiggle and he can shoot. Pretty decent here. Junior made this little fella, Aiden Andrews, look like a little bear. But he's got a little bit of game. What is the rating here for him? He's an 87, two-way slasher. This is one of my favorite scorers, though, that we made. Junior made this guy. His jump shot is silk. Just, the dribble handle is tight, especially for the size. And the jump shot, like, you might want to make if you got a big that shoots in part, you might want to consider this. I think Junior said the jump shot might be a little bit too slow for Park, but man, it's so silky though. This 24-73 combination is silky, and it has great cues for when to get the green because it's a snap on it, and that snap kind of tells you when your release point should be. So I definitely like Evan McGill. He's an 87. Jordan Lee is an 83. I don't even remember why. He is Blasian. So in case you are wondering, he is Blasian. But Jordan Lee, sharp shooting. He can shoot. I forgot. He can shoot and pass. He's just not all that fast. But yeah, that's his deal. Keon Puckett is a defender, rebounder. His player DNA was Tristan Thompson. I played a game with him. I had 12.17. He had 12.17 rebounds and 7 blocks. He was getting it. Ricky Logan is, oh my God, I forgot who his player DNA was, but he swole because his strength level is ridiculous. He has a hard time finishing under the basket though, because he don't have the dunk packages, and he don't have a great vertical, but he gets a bunch of rebounds. He has high post control. Just don't put it in that often. Habib Muhammad, the only dude who we blew out his high top fade this high. And I believe his player DNA is Iman Shumpert, so that's kind of what made me do that. But yeah, he's a 76. Cody Bone. All right, here's why I started modeling players after people. So I'm going to ask y'all to take a look at this and tell me, who do you think I was trying to create, or at least basing it off of him? I am going to archive this. Go ahead, Sir Jam. I appreciate you coming through. But yeah, I am going to, it'll be up for you to watch. Y'all tell me, who do you think this was supposed to be? I want to see what some of the guesses are for who they think that this player was supposed to be. And it's not a player. So I'm going to tell you, it's not a player. I'll narrow it down. I'll probably be giving away too much when I say this. Oh, Cole Holland coming through with it on the first chance. I must have done a good job. Yes, this player, his face was based off of Lil Wayne for sure. Okay, so I must have done a better job than I thought. Lil Wayne for sure. Yes, so Cody Bone was his face is based on Lil Wayne. He's got hops. Don't handle the ball that well, but he's got hops. Let's see, Valentino House. I'm trying to remember, did I base anybody? Was he based off of somebody? I got to pull that up to see. I can't remember if I based him on someone. He does look a little bit like Donovan Mitchell because of the size of his eyes. Let's see if I based him off of someone. Yeah, I don't think I based him off of anybody. He's a pretty basic dude anyway. So, I mean, he's all right, but he actually kind of, when I looked at him from one angle, he actually looks a little like if Dwayne Wade had a different hairstyle, and the way Dwayne Wade's been going lately, he might have that one tomorrow. So here is Larry Kemp. Larry Kemp, He had Larry Kemp. I didn't realize we gave you a nose. Gee whiz. Larry Kemp looked like some kind of mammal that you only find in some type of really remote rainforest or something. Look at his nose and lip just stay out. His nose and his lips is in a race to meet you. They just they just come flying out. Andrew, what's going on? I appreciate you coming through. Man, Larry, what are you doing with the lower region of your face? Gee willikers. He can rebound, though. We'll give him that. I think he might use his nose and lips to get possession of the ball. He's a rim protector. Nose and lips. Here's Horace Barksdale. Looks a little bit too much like Charles Sheldon, but his head is a little shaped that we're going to change his hairstyle, his facial hair. Let's do that now because he looks just like that other fella. We're going to change that at once. His head, man, he got a head on him, though, don't he? What up, Mr. Pierce? We got to change this hairstyle immediately. So he don't. Oh, there you go. Change that up and then give him a different hair. Give him a little bit more hair so he looks even less like Mr. Sheldon. That one actually looked like it matched for him, though. But what's up, Mr. Leggett? Appreciate you coming through. Let's go with that. We don't have a lot of people with this hairstyle. He's not that great of a player, so but we're gonna let him keep a distinct hairstyle for himself. Horace Barksdale. All right, Saxon Merritt. What are you doing on your anytime? I don't know what that means. Tell me clarify that for me. On my avatar. On which avatar? I don't even know what you mean. Saxton Merritt is definitely, we went to skin tone 1. Not that many brothers. No, I don't even know if this is skin tone 1. This might be skin tone 2. Skin tone 1 is like invisible. What's up, Mr. Pierce? So that's the last guy here on this group. Gonna move it to, this is the highest rated, Cassius, what's going on? This is the highest rated player that we have made at all at this point. Samante Copeland, and believe it or not, his player DNA was Bob Cousy. 2K has Bob Cousy so drastically overrated that it's crazy. So I didn't bother changing or doing anything with that. But he basically looks like Eric Gordon with facial hair and younger. But he's a 97. The only real weakness that Samante Copeland has is that he does not dunk. But everything else he does just about at an elite level. His inside D is an F, but it doesn't matter. He's 97 with 38 badges, 24 years old. As of right now, if Junior and I did our fantasy draft, Samante Copeland is probably going to be the #1 pick. Even maybe over Teo Martin. I might still take Teo, but Samante can get it done. I mean, and playing with this character is so, the moves are so ridiculous. It's just crazy. This is Maxie Adams, who, in my opinion, now I did not even pattern him after this person, but there's one particular wrestler that he looks just like. Can anybody tell me if you see the wrestler that he looks like? And this was not done on purpose. It just turned out this way. Who does he look like? Because I did not do it on purpose. I want to see if anybody sees what I see. This dude is a beast, though. And his player DNA actually was Larry Bird, 85, 86 Larry Bird. So he's the truth. I'm surprised nobody, unless we're on delay, I'm surprised nobody is saying who they think this guy is, because as soon as I looked at it after I got through just making it, I was like, wow, that looks just like this guy. Unless we just don't have any wrestling fans in here today. Martez, no. No, he don't look like Martez Ford to me. I don't know, man. For me, Prince said he don't see it either. Nobody else sees Roman Reigns. Like, just obviously not the hair. Not the hair, right? Not the hair. So put your hand over it, over from the headband down. Like, and just look at the face. Don't look at the hair. Y'all don't see like a darker Roman Reigns? Like me and Junior both was like Roman Reigns. He looked like he finna go, hoo-ah! I don't know. I see Roman Reigns. I guess nobody else sees Roman Reigns. All right, here's Michael Cooley. Rick Rude. The Rude Awakening. Michael Cooley, I love the feel of the control of this character is ridiculous. All right, Cassius. He said no. He said, I don't know. I see him, but Michael Cooley right here, man. Oh, you don't watch New School Wrestling. I understand. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something though. Males, he said, yeah, Roman by the face. I'll tell you something, Mel. I have checked out of wrestling too, right? But over the last week or so, I have been paying attention to the promos that they have been cutting, and especially SmackDown. What's going on, Ben? Especially SmackDown. No, that's not me, Mr. Pierce. That's a creative player that we did. This is a fiction roster that we got, so those are not my players. I mean, that's not like my player. Yeah, the hair kind of might have thrown you off. But I've been paying attention to the promos, man, that they've been cutting lately. Like Roman just cut one. He was beating up Kevin Owens, and he was talking to Kevin Owens' family. That promo was sick. And then I just saw one from Smack Talk. I think it was from tonight, where Paul Heyman was talking to Big E, and he was trying to convince Big E to drop the baggage of when he was, with New Day, and just really embrace being a singles wrestler, and how, he was going to be so much bigger of a star. It was fire, man. It was handled very well. So that's the kind of stuff that kind of draws me back into wrestling a little bit. What's going on, Sweet? That's the kind of stuff to draw. When I see somebody come through with a character or mic work, and every once in a while in-ring ability that really, that really, really grabs me, that's what gets me back on wrestling, when I see something like that. And so for the last week or so, I've been seeing a few instances of that. So I think they got me back enough to watch Raw and SmackDown this coming week. And I'm going to see what's happening. It doesn't take me long to get caught back up on what I missed. And I wasn't completely out of it. I knew that Drew McIntyre was the champion, but he lost it to Roman Reigns. So I kind of knew, kind of most of what was going on. But, yeah. I watch wrestling, and I watch pretty much every sport, BMC. I mean, be honest with you. I mean, wrestling's not technically a sport. It's an athletic, performance, but it's not a sport. And it's not a sport because you can't have a sport with a predetermined outcome. You can have an athletic performance, and I do believe that the wrestlers are athletes, but what they do is not a sport, because what their competition is already predetermined. Yeah, I definitely am praying for you, Sweet. You say you tested positive for COVID. Pray everything works out for you. That's dope, Mr. Pierce. What's going on? Is it Dania? Absolutely, you blessed. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here, man, for sure. All right, the next person is Brandon Talbot, who player DNA is Jerry Stackhouse. He looks like what's my man? Is it Kendall Marshall? Was a point guard for North Carolina back in the day. But that's kind of who he kind of looks like a little bit. But yeah, I like definitely controlling him. This little group of players was really good. The ones that dropped here on Atlanta, Akil Floyd. He got the same hairstyle as that other guy, but he's pretty solid. 6'11", real good 3-point shooter. I try to remember. I can't remember who he was patterned after. This is next gen, Gus. On stream it's hard to see who, kind of what it is because, with HDR it doesn't transfer as well. So what I see on my screen is actually much sharper than what you guys are seeing. It's just kind of the way it is right now. So, but Akil Floyd was based on Danny Granger, all-time Pacers Danny Granger. So he can really shoot. Let's see, we got Harrison Curtis, who was based on Nikola Vucevic. He rebounds real well and shoots the three pretty decent too. Like I said, this little Atlanta Hawks group I was getting a bunch of good players in a row. Casey Benjamin is a beast. His player DNA. Okay, so I'm gonna see if you guys will never guess who this is supposed to be. I'm already knowing. Now I will tell you, this is a rapper as well, and I did the best I could. But his player DNA is Zion. So, and yeah, most of the Zion qualities are definitely in effect. So, tell me who you guys think. All right, Miss Pierce, I'll make note of that for sure. Tell me who you think this is. Okay, so you see the body type. He definitely very Zionish. 6'8", 265. Dunks on it all. But tell me what rapper you think I was attempting to model this after. I really don't think I hit the mark very well here. Yeah, Danny Granger was a problem, especially that it was like 1 year, I think he averaged like 26. Oh, I must be doing better than I thought. This is it's modeled after Travis Scott. I'm telling you, I'm doing better than I thought. So Travis Scott meets Zion Williamson is Casey Benjamin. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I started doing this, modeling it after people because it just made the whole creation process more interesting for me. And I said, man, when I do a stream on this, it might be cool to kind of throw this out here to people and see if they can see who I was trying to create. This is Sylvester Crossley. Yeah, this one didn't come out so good. I ended up having to change this in the middle. I'm just going to tell y'all who this was supposed to be at first. And then I just changed it. It was supposed to be Chris Brown at first, but then it just didn't go right. And so it wasn't Chris Brown no more. We was like, yeah, no, it's got to just make him a bald head, brown skin brother. We're going to go with that. But he's got a good defense on the inside. Just average, a decent player, just decent across the board, paint defender. David Figgs is his player DNA is Andre Drummond. And I'm trying to see, was I going for somebody with this? I don't think I was. Yeah, I wasn't going for nobody with this. But yeah, his player DNA is Andre Drummond. He lost a couple things, which is the reason why his overall dropped. But he's still a boss rebounder like Drummond. So he actually plays a little bit better than that 79, in my opinion. Now, here's one. I put this on Twitter. So I modeled this dude after somebody. This is Arthur Reeves. And Arthur Reeves is it started off as Doug Christie. But can somebody tell me who they think? What's going on, Marcus Eminem? Appreciate you. He said he look like Drew. He do look like Drew Gooden. He said Sheldon Williams. I appreciate you, Mr. Pierce. Thank you very much. Tell me if you are if you are a, I ain't gonna even say. I was gonna give a little bit of a hint, but I want to see if somebody can guess who they think this was modeled after. Honestly, I think this is one of the best ones I did for trying to make him look like the person. Tank. Yes, that's exactly who it is. This is Javonte Davis, the boxer. I think he came out pretty tight. I heard you there, Mr. Pierce. You're 85. I appreciate you. 6'7". Man, what if Javante was 6'7", 215? If Javante was 6'7", 215, he'd be fighting Deontay for the heavyweight championship. But 6'7", 215, he'd be a little slim. That's actually about the size Deontay is. 6'7", 215. Okay, Mr. Pierce, I hear you, man. You're going to have to stop spamming this chat, though, with just random stuff. Well, I heard you. You're 85 overall. You playing NBA 2K21. You like the stream. I appreciate you very much. But please stop spamming the stream with just random stuff. But yeah, Arthur Reeves, 6'7", 215, 27 years old. He's a shooter, 3-and-D kind of guy. But yeah, 79 overall. Everett Morton. Was he supposed to be somebody? I think he might have been supposed to be somebody. Let's see, who do we have? No, Everett Morton's not anybody. But he was started off as 0506 Damon Stoudemire. And but he got bigger and the speed wasn't that. The older Damon Stoudemire on 2K, they took like all his speed. Like it's not even like the same guy no more. So here's Dalton Lyons. He is your math teacher. Yeah, he's a math teacher who does rock climbing in his spare time. His player DNA was only based on Quincy Pondexter, so that should tell you a little bit right there about it. It wasn't gonna work out. Here's Mikey Fleming. Mikey Fleming works in the cafeteria at the high school you used to go to. Yeah, so he looked like Jason Terry. He did look a little bit like Jason Terry. Mikey Fleming is one of the worst players. He might be the worst player on the whole game. Tank he probably would beat Deontay if he was that big. He probably would be. But Mikey, I'm trying to tell you something, man. Mikey Fleming, some of the players I created, I felt sorry for him. And Mikey Fleming was one of them. He just doesn't bring a lot to the table, yo. He just didn't bring a lot. His player DNA was based off of one of them, one of the placeholder players, because who I originally thought he was going to be based off of, Festus Ezeli, is not even in the game anymore. So he ended up going off of there, 6'10", 229 pounds. He even got Adidas Superstars on, y'all. He don't do much of nothing good. He's a 58. He's a facilitating 5. Facilitating 5. I don't even know what that is, but that's what he is. So get up off his back. All right, next up, Kenny Bruno. Everybody listen up. Listen up. Kenny Bruno's player DNA is Kobe Bryant. So you already knew that he was going to be that truth. Now, he is only 6'3", because the randomization took him down to 6'3". But there ain't really nothing he don't do well, because the all-time Kobe is a serious problem. And this dude is angry about a lot of things, and he plays with a reckless abandon. I'm just trying to tell you. So the image that I posted with the dude getting dunked on Twitter with his head going in the basket, Kenny Bruno was the one putting his head in the basket. The jump shot motion is nice. It flows really, really nice out of the dribble. So the handle goes right into that jump shot real smooth. As you can see, he has the free throw from Kobe. He also is rocking the 24. I really didn't take control of most people's numbers, but because he was based off of Kobe, I gave him the 24. He's got Kobe's dunk package. So to say that it is fun to play with Kenny Bruno is probably an understatement. He gets it done out there. He gets it done. And then his post fade is still high. It was just like my randomization tool said, oh, this is Kobe. Let's make sure that we don't ruin his. His is going to be fire. And that's exactly what happened. He's got 28 badges. That was the only place that was kind of a little bit lower. But he's the second highest rated player that I made so far, coming in with the 96. So I'm telling you, I'm going rock climbing and a hot yoga. Not at the same time. That could be painful. That could be painful. What up, Madden Gamer? I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you, Marcus, man. I'm doing my best to try to make it dope. You know what I'm saying? He said, are you putting in your own creative rookies before the season start? I might actually. A dude sent me a whole roster file and some stuff for some creative rookies. And so I was thinking about maybe using his or something like that. Or I was actually even thinking about modeling some rookies after you guys, after people who actually watch this series, this little super nerdy series of mine. You know, modeling some people after y'all. I thought that might be even kind of dope. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, I am going to have, it will be custom rookies. I'm not going to take their rookie names. Their rookie names be so trash. It's just bad. Kenny Bruno might be the next GOAT. He might. He seems like he smells something bad. Ruthless aggression. Yeah, the mini Mamba. That might be the best nickname. I appreciate you, B-Mac. Yeah, I mean, this dude, man, I'm just playing with this dude. It was like crazy. I was like, dang, it feel like Kobe or somebody, man. It's like, it was ridiculous. Nolan Justice. All right, now wait a minute, you know what? Kenny Bruno was supposed to be somebody. I forgot to ask y'all. You're not going to get this. You're not. Let me go back and look at Kenny Bruno. All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. And I'm going to tell you right now, it went a little awry. So I'm going to tell you, it went a little awry. I'm going to give you a hint. NFL wide receiver. So who do you think that Kenny Bruno's face was modeled after? Just give me what you think. Who do you think Kenny Bruno's face was modeled after? I gave you a hint. I said NFL wide receiver. He's my favorite current NFL wide receiver. He's one of probably in my top 5 favorites of all time. I'm not going to say top 5 best, but he's my top 5 favorite wide receivers of all time. And he's my current favorite in the league. And I also say this is an updated hairstyle for him, because this is not the hairstyle that he had when he came into the NFL. Terrence Ross a little bit. It does look a little bit like him, but no, this is his face is modeled after an NFL player. That's actually Alshon Jeffrey is actually not a bad guess, because it does look a little like Alshon Jeffrey, and because I'm sure you probably know I'm a Bears fan, that would have made sense. But no, it's not him. Alshon, I loved Alshon when he was with the Bears. I did. But once he wasn't a Bear anymore, I didn't have that connection. This one particular player, I will say this. He's never played for the Bears. I wish he played for the Bears. No, it's not Allen Robinson. He never played for the Bears. I wish he played for the Bears. Even though he's never played for the Bears, he's still my favorite wide receiver in the league right now. Yeah. So I'm gonna just go out and tell you his face was modeled after Julio Jones. Julio Jones is my favorite receiver in the league, and he's one of my top 5 favorites of all time. I just feel like he had the one real shot in the Super Bowl, and he should have a ring. Maybe even could have had the MVP in that game if the Patriots don't come back and win. But Julio's a beast, y'all, and he's getting older, but he's a straight beast. He's a straight beast. So it was really a random thing with who I made their faces modeled after. So I didn't give him Kobe because he's my favorite receiver. Just kind of lined up that way. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Kobe Bryant was not my favorite player, in the league, he was never my favorite player. Honestly, I never disliked him, but he just wasn't my favorite player. But I always respected him and respected his game, respected his grind and his talent and all of that. And obviously, as a father and as a husband, what has happened this year just, changes and takes things to a whole nother level. But yeah, this particular face was modeled after Julio Jones. Next up is Nolan Justice. Now, this face is modeled after a current high school basketball player. So I don't know how many of y'all are up on current high school basketball situations, but his name is Nolan Justice. That's the name of the character. And he was modeled, or his player DNA is Mark Price. But some stuff got changed up a little bit. Yeah, they never did recover from that Super Bowl loss. They have literally been reeling ever since. Matt Ryan's still a good quarterback too, and Julio Jones is still a fantastic receiver if he's healthy. And Calvin Ridley is a beast, over there. So he's ready. It's so tripped out how some teams can continually draft right. No, it's not Mikey Williams. Can continually draft right at a position. And other teams just historically suck at drafting at that position. Ain't that just amazing? Like, the Falcons have no problem finding wide receivers. The Steelers have no problem finding wide receivers. But the Patriots can't find a wide receiver to save their life. They just can't. They can't find a. Yes, Imani Bates, you are correct, Goods. That is, it's my best attempt at Imani Bates. You can't really make his face small because Imani's face is kind of small. So you, like, in terms of like his head is like more circular, at least at this point in his life. He's just a kid. He's a baby. You don't even know how that boy's face and head is going to shape out once he gets to be a full grown man. And he is a beast. He is a beast. The only thing I worry about with Imani, and I might have said this in the previous stream, is what does he look like when he's not so much more talented than every single player on the floor? And I say that because I watched him in this. It was a really high profile high school game against a 7'1" kid who was ranked like 2 or 3 coming into the game, ahead of the game. And it was a really big, huge deal, of course, because you get 2 of the best high school basketball players in the world playing against each other. And I'm telling you, man, now Imani had a good game. I think he had like 36 and 9 or something like that. But there were several plays where the kid he was guarding just straight up out physicaled him. And I'm not talking about with power. I'm talking about with speed, agility, length, and just skill. And the look on Imani's face when he was getting handled in that situation makes me worry a little bit about his Chet Holmgren. That's the kid I'm talking about. Chet Holmgren, 7'1", stupid handle. I'm just talking about, like, I'm telling you, this kid's, but he don't weigh but 11 ounces, but he's a kid, so we'll see how he feels out. But Imani was having serious problems holding this guy, and the look on his face was this kind of a defeated kind of a look, and yeah, he's a year ahead of him for sure, but he had a kind of a look on his face, like, and this is a total intangible. And of course, like I said, he's a kid, he's a baby, he's not who he's going to be mentally or physically, right? But some intangibles you can teach and some you can't. And when somebody is used to dominating and just showing up and just being physically better than everybody just off GP, I really like to see what happens when they get into that situation where I can't just show up and just blow this kid away, because that's more indicative of what he runs into on the next level. And then, of course, on the level after that. So it was interesting. I'm not putting a final or eternal judgment on his game, but that was something that I did notice. I was like, I don't know that I love his body language in this situation. I don't know that I love it. So, and I've seen some kids younger, his kids, his age, who have, to me, ran up on that challenge a little bit better than he did in that particular game. But it's one game, like I said, he's a kid, and there is no end all be all, you know what I'm saying? for him at this point. But it did definitely was something that I noticed. Oh, I didn't realize I have Arthur Reeves on two different teams. We can't do that. I just caught that. So he's got to delete this particular one from the roster. Got to add another player to the Heat. All right, Gerard Mcgee. That's my little rant on Imani Bates and Chet Holmgren. Gerard Mcgee. Now, this guy also face is based off of an NFL wide receiver. Now, I will say that this particular wide receiver is retired. He is one of the greatest wide receivers in the history of the game. Retired early by many people's standards, not by his. And I give him all the credit and all the respect in the world for putting the game down when he did, because he just showed he was in control of his own life, and I appreciate that. I got respect for that. But that's who this face is modeled after. I probably gave you enough hints right there just to know who this is, and I think I did a fairly good job. This looks a little like this dude, a good amount, especially with me giving that setup. That's if you exactly. Cole Holland. This is Calvin Johnson. This is Megatron. Exactly, Eli. I definitely agree with that, Eli. I agree with that. We will have a better thing. It's just something that I noticed just out at first. Something I noticed at first. This is Gerard Mcgee. Face is modeled after Calvin Johnson. Super long athlete. He's a dunker. He's a decent shot blocker, but the problem is that his strength level was really, really low, which is why I made him, goods as Megatron. That's why I made his frame so thin. So he gets overpowered by some people, but yeah. All right, this is Jabril Richardson. His player DNA is Robert Horry, young Robert Horry, but his face, all right, I'm gonna give you a hint. Is based off of a WWE superstar. That should be enough. If you watch WWE at all now, what I just told you should be enough. He is. I can see somebody saying one guy and not who it was actually based off of. But yes, his player DNA is based. His face is based off of a WWE superstar, and his player DNA is Robert Horry. What you got? And I will admit, this one is just okay from me recreating the person's face. They don't really have everything that I needed to make him look like he really, really looks. And those of us who create players, they know what's going on. Gideon Truth Chaser, appreciate you coming through, bro. Those of us who create players know that is all of the stuff that needed there is not there to make everybody. It's not like the WWE's creation suite. Who you right on it, Prince? Big E. Yes, Big E's one of my favorites right now. He's a beast. But yeah, he's based off of Robert Horry. I see that's what I was thinking too, Deshaun. I was thinking somebody's gonna say Cedric Alexander because the facial hairstyle is just like his. So, but yeah, no, it's him. Here is Montel Meadows. Now, Montel Meadows' face is based off of an actor. His player DNA is Kalini Azubuike, but it's based off an actor. I think y'all might be able to get this. It does look a little like Cedric. But yes, his face is based off of an actor. Obviously, he's an African-American actor. And if one of y'all say, I'm the captain now, I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna hang up. One of y'all say, I'm the captain now. Look at me. I'm the captain. If one of y'all say that, I'm hanging up. But yeah, this is actually Kaleni Azubuike's numbers were really, really strong. For you got an idea for the extra player slot? I got guys lined up, but let's see what Will Smith. He way too dark for Will Smith, but I guess in the eyes. Oh, you know what though? You know what's so funny? It looked more it's Anthony Mackie. It is Anthony Mackie. But in the eyes and the nose, he actually looked like Willow. It actually looks like Willow Smith, Will's daughter. So I could actually kind of see why you might have said that. But no, it's Anthony Mackie. It's the new Captain America. Y'all, I don't know if y'all knew that. Well, if you saw Avengers, you should know it's going to be the new Captain America. But yeah, but Kalini Azubuike had some, like, I think he shot like 41% from three that year. And he was dunking people. So he's got better 2K ratings than you might think. So, but he ends up in the 75. Jin Roo, representing from all over the globe, baby. He's a shooter. Now, this is a pretty straightforward facial modeling. Junior did this one, and he did a really good job. He is modeled after a rapper. Can anybody guess which rapper? It's pretty straightforward, though. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think Junior did a really, really good job capturing him. And he's 7'1", 207 pounds, though. He can shoot the three a little bit, but he's a little weak. A little light in the buttocks. But the face, definitely, I think he did a good job. Rich Brian. I don't even know who Rich Brian is. But it's not Rich Brian because I don't even know who that is. I have no idea who that is. I have to look him up. Maybe he looks like him. I don't know who. Andrew Yang. I don't know who any of these people are. Some. Okay, so we might have some younger hip hop fans here, so that's why y'all are missing this. But if you got some hip hop history on you, if you got some hip hop history on you, you ought to kind of know who Andrew. This man don't look nothing like no Andrew Yang. Oh, maybe a little bit, but not really. Andrew Yang's a Democratic presidential candidate. That shows you how much I pay attention to that stuff. I did not know that. Okay, so let me take y'all back a little bit. Back, there was a show called 106 in Park. It came on BET. It had a there you go, Prince. Prince came through with it. It's not a modern rapper, Marcus. Prince came through with it. Yes. So it was a show called 106 in Park. And they had a host on the show named Free, who was one of the most, oh my God, beautiful. She's 53 years old. She's still fine. She was one of the most, oh my God, beautiful women on TV you ever wanted, anywhere, TV or whatever you want to call it. Free was just whoa. And there was a male host named AJ. So they used to have this one part of the show called Freestyle Fridays, where it was basically battle rap. And they'd have two MCs on there battling. And for 8 weeks in a row, a Chinese rapper named Jin won. He basically, I mean, I felt like he definitively won every round except for he battled this dude named Skyzoo, who is actually a rapper who's pretty dope. And Freestyle Fridays. He battled this dude named Skyzoo, who's pretty dope. But Skyzoo had some dope 106 and Bow Wow was the host after Free and AJ. He came in after that. But he insulted AJ in his freestyle, and I think that hurt him getting any votes. And Jen had already won like 5-6 weeks in a row. So yeah. But yeah, Free. Oh my God. If y'all don't know, if you don't know who I'm talking about, somebody open up another tab and Google search Free 106 in Park. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Free was worth watching 106 in Park by itself. I don't even care if you didn't like rap. She was worth watching by itself. I did make a deal by mistake who looked like Mark Phillips from RDC World. I by mistake I made one. I can't remember which and who he was, but he's back there in some of the teams. We were just talking about that earlier. He looked, and I had just said that exact same thing, that I made somebody look like the guy from RDC World. All right, the next one is Arik Duncan. Now he is definitely modeled after after an actor. I think this is one of the easiest ones to see, in my opinion. I think that this one is pretty clear who this is. Y'all tell me, who was I going for when I created this? Yeah. I don't know. Is that Jay-Z? I don't think it is. Is that Jay-Z, baby mama? I might have missed that. I might have missed that one. Yeah, I might have missed if that was Jay-Z, but I don't remember that one. I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't remember that. Yeah, but this one here I think comes through pretty clean. But it's Arik Duncan. Arik Duncan is based off of. Oh, it wasn't good. His player DNA was Larry Siegfried. He said Justice Young. Yeah, Justice Young, but really not Justice Young. But yeah, he's like he gonna get some orange juice. Yes, Michael B. Jordan for sure. Hey, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I think this is a pretty doggone good Michael B. Jordan. I really do. Like he finna say, "Hey, auntie, you just need the hairstyle for that role. He need the Killmonger going on, but for sure." All right, now this is Franz Robbins. Yeah, I told you we got to go, man. Franz Robbins can't even close his eyes if he want to. I'm just trying to say. Yeah, man. Gee whiz. This dude, his eyelids are on a different level of everything. I mean, I don't even know. Junior said this dude scares him. Franz Robbins' player DNA is Stacey King. Now, you will never guess who I was trying to get here. I'm probably just going to come right out and tell y'all because you'll never. I couldn't make him. I just put it like this. I couldn't make him right. It's the rapper Logic. I just couldn't make him. It wouldn't work out, So I just ended up going off on my own when I saw it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on off on my own, and we just gonna go. It's loosely based on Logic because of the size of the eyes. He said Vince Vaughn. No, he probably looked more like Vince Vaughn than who I was trying to get, but yeah, no, it's not Vince Vaughn. That is the rapper Logic. It didn't work out. So don't worry about it. It didn't work out. It just it just didn't work out. All right, we went back to the WWE for this one. Albert McKinney, his player DNA is Gary Trent. WWE, this didn't work out well either. So I'm just gonna tell. When I know I didn't do it well, I'm just gonna tell y'all who it is. This did not come out well. It's supposed to be Kofi Kingston. It does not look like Kofi Kingston. It looked like Melvin Eli or somebody, but not Kofi Kingston. But yeah, so he didn't come out well, so we had to go where we do. All right, now this dude, his name is, I actually went to school with a kid. Well, he ain't a kid no more, he's full grown. But I went to school with a kid whose name was Saladin. And I always thought that name was just, I don't know, I just thought it was hilarious. Saladin Rogers is this gentleman's name. And he was supposed to be a boxer this is another one that I don't think came out well. It was supposed to be Shakur Stevenson, but they wouldn't let me do the eyes the way I needed to do. The hairstyle's there, but it was supposed to be Shakur Stevenson. That didn't work out. Ended up just being Saladin Rogers, who was based on somebody that wasn't good. Who was it? Somebody very, very average. Anderson Varejao, the 06-07 Anderson Varejao. So he rebounds, but that's about it. All right, Justin Dabanovic. Now this, depending on how much commercial hip hop you dig, you might be able to guess this one. Commercial hip hop, his player DNA is Fred Hoiberg. But somebody let me know. What do you think? He said, Franz, stand through your soul. Oh, somebody got logic. Okay. He said he raps too fast. That's Kofi. He looks like your drunk Uncle Paul. You leave Paul alone. Let Paul work his situation out. Let him work it out. He's still working on it. But yeah, this is a rapper. I guess he's kind of a rapper. He's a rapper. I ain't gonna diss him and say he ain't a rapper. He's a rapper. But yeah, in my roster, his name. Where is the little fella? Justin Dabanovic. Like I said, player DNA is Fred Hoiberg. He's 6'9", though. Yep, Macklemore. Bam. We on the same page, Prince. He looked like Jake Paul. Jake Paul don't got a nose like that, though. This a Macklemore nose here. I don't nose like that. Definitely Macklemore. All right. Moving to I think I only have it done to the Kings. So Jared DeWitt Jr. made this one. He ran into a problem. I'm just going to tell y'all who it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be Eminem. And then he wanted to go with Eminem's natural hairstyle. I told him it might have looked a little bit more like him if he had gone with the blonde. But he didn't do that. So this is how he came out. This is Jared DeWitt. Like I said, his player DNA is John Stockton. Came out a little too slow and a little too short. And so Junior wanted to really Eminem him up, and he gave him some tattoo on the hand, everything. He's actually good to control, honestly. But yeah, didn't look as much like him as he wanted. Willie Rose. I did the best I could with arguably. Some people would say the greatest rapper of all time. Some people would just say the most accomplished rapper of all time. Either way, not saying that I did the greatest job on this one, but based off of what I just said to you, you should know who this is supposed to be. He did look like the professor a little bit. But who this is supposed to be. His player DNA is Mark Jackson, who they gave some really good ratings. And then he got some good stuff from the randomization tool. So he came out even better because of that. But who do you think this is supposed to be? Should be pretty obvious. Based off of the clues that I've given. Even though he also does look like Isaiah Kanan. Yes, this is Jay-Z. Willie Rose is Jay-Z and Mark Jackson mixed together. Here's Alec Beatty. All right, let's go back to the NFL. Alec Beatty is based on Tony Parker, but his face is an NFL player. A doggone good one. Just let's say that. A doggone good one. We don't like him that much in these parts, but I actually really like him. I just hate that he kills my team twice a year. All right, Gamer, I appreciate you. You say he look like more like, that's that nose. That's the nose. He definitely got a Chris nose. Yes. Well, not A-Rod. I think you mean A-Rod. Yeah. Well, A-Rod, yeah. I guess they do. I didn't know people called him that. Yeah, okay. He said Devontae Parker. No. This is Aaron Rodgers. Elijah got it. Definitely Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't look like a basketball player at all, but that's okay. I bet you Aaron Rodgers can play, though. I just bet you Aaron Rodgers can play. I just bet you he can probably play. Most guys, like in the NFL, are not like trash at basketball, you know. This is Dexter Hicks. His player DNA is Rick Smith's, but he's smaller. He's only 6'11". The face didn't work out well at all. He's supposed to look like Barry Sanders. He looked like Larry Sanders. I don't know who it is, but it didn't work out with Barry Sanders at all. But he's a good player. 83. Then we got Amir Roland, who was supposed to be good. Now, this is old school baseball. Now, his player DNA was Kyrie Irving, but he ended up getting, well, and first of all, he thinks you're all pawns and that he should not have to talk to you at all, even though he makes $30 million and part of the contract is for him to talk to the media. But that's neither here nor there. Old school baseball. I'll give you a hint. The greatest leadoff man in the history of the game, in the history of baseball. That's his face was modeled after. He said the extra player spot should be future. Okay. I think we could do that. I think we could do that. This is Next Gen Alpha. He's a bad man. You said, what is your thing like? What is your team football? Tell me, say that. He said Ernie Banks. No. Ernie Banks was not a leadoff man. And Ernie Banks is darker than this. Actually, the person who this is darker than this. Actually, we just made him lighter because it's loosely based. But yeah, nah, you're not gonna. Yes, Cole Holland coming through. Ricky Henderson, Chicago native, greatest leadoff man to ever live. Greatest leadoff man ever live. Yep. So Ricky Henderson, we got the we hooked it up with that, but he's not as good as he should be because he lost a couple things that made him Kyrie. But that's it. Here's Ahmad Sadiq. This one is, let's see, Junior made this one. I'm trying to see who this was supposed to be. I can't remember. I think, this is also baseball. His player DNA is Terry Rozier. Think about the best baseball players currently in the league, the best young baseball players. So you probably have to be a baseball fan to know who this is, who this face was supposed to be. But he did a pretty good job if you know what the guy looks like. I don't know how many baseball fans we got in here. I do have the PS5. He said way off. Roster update on PS4. No. But yeah, I would not be surprised if not Mookie. Mookie's much lighter. I mean, I think there's a regular roster update on PS4. Yeah, there's a regular roster update on PS4. They should get their updates the exact same time as PS5 and Xbox Series X. So it shouldn't be a delay on that. Yes, it is Ronald Acuna. That's good, actually. Yeah, so that means Junior did do a really good job with that. He might be the best he might be the best player in the majors 25 years and under. So yeah, I mean, he's got probably multiple MVPs in his future if he stays healthy. Hugo Kozlov coming through. Now, this is old school baseball. We went old school baseball. If you're not an old school baseball fan, then you're not going to know who this guy is. But we came through with Hugo Kozlov. His player DNA is Doc Rivers. And we modeled this face after, I'm about to give it away, y'all. Many people believe that he should be in the Hall of Fame, but he is not because of something that he did. But that's who his face is modeled after, Hugo Kozlov. And if you don't know what he looks like, you probably have to look it up once we talk about who it is. But I think this is pretty good. It looks like him, especially younger version of him, even though his eyes should probably be a little thinner. He's married to like somebody. He's married to like the girl he's married to, the lady he's married to is like 25 years younger than him. Dime Dropper, what's good? Yes, Acuna's a monster. Yeah, the lady he's married, she's like 25 years younger than him. Like Pete Rose for sure. That is it. That is who it is. But yeah, the lady. She Pete said, "Look here, this what we gonna do. This what we gonna do right here." Nate Avery. This didn't come out right at all. His player DNA is LaMelo Ball, but the face didn't come. I'm just gonna tell y'all because you'll never guess because I couldn't make him. It's supposed to be based off of Busta Rhymes, but it just looked like Busta Crimes because it didn't work out. It didn't work out. He's not that good of a player anyway. He's at a 77. Didn't work out, but we tried. Gavin Dean. Player DNA is Ed Davis. Is a very old school baseball player. I tried to make his face. Tried to take people from all different eras. You guys will not guess this, I'm sure, because it don't even look that much like him. He actually looked like a little fat white woman, as a matter of fact, if you look at his face. But it's supposed to have been Cy Young, but it didn't come out that right. It didn't come out right. He's actually a pretty good player, though, because he really rebounds, and I think he ended up getting like a surprise in the player DNA. In the randomization. So he came out a little bit better than he's supposed to. Dominic Tucker looks a little bit like one of the this was the guy I was saying that looks a little like too much like one of the other guys. But his player DNA. But I want to know if you guys can guess this one. His player DNA is Mark Gasol. But this is based on a rapper. You guys should get this in like 5 seconds. The Tesla guy? Who is Tesla? You mean Tesla? Oh, I think you're talking about, what's that man's name? Something Tesla. I forgot his first name. The Tesla. It's escaping me for right now. But no, not the Tesla guy. But this is a rapper. Obviously, everybody should know who this is. I think we did a pretty good job bringing him in here, even though a lot of people want him out. Yes, this is Yeezy. Kanye. This is pretty good. This is actually pretty good to me. I definitely think this is pretty good. What if Kanye was 6'9", 245 pounds? Can y'all imagine if Kanye was 6'9", 245 pounds? I bet you this. If Kanye was 6'9", 245 pounds, he wouldn't have half the issues he got. Because part of what he got is short man complex. If he was 6'9", 245, I think he would just be okay. I think he would just be all right. I think you ain't got the answers. I think he would just, because he wouldn't have to deal. Yes, I know he lost his mom and that really kind of messed him up. But I think part of it, the problems he had before that, a lot of it is short man complex. So if he was 6'9", 245, he'd be all right. He'd be like, cool, I'm big. I ain't got to worry about it. Ain't nobody, nobody pushing me down, nothing. We good. But it didn't work out like that. Bo Mercer. Now, I had Junior model him after an old NBA bust that like nobody's going to remember. Nobody's going to know who this is supposed to be. So I'm just going to tell y'all off the top. And we're going to see if you even remember or if anybody had ever heard of him. If you're an old school basketball fan, you might. Not even that old school, honestly. But back in the day, there was a high school, college phenom, so to speak. Got into some trouble a little bit after college, a little bit during college, named D'Antonio Wingfield. So if you never heard of him, Google him real quick. But in college, D'Antonio Wingfield had game. Physically strong, handle. He wasn't a great shooter, but he had game. He had ran into some problems. And didn't ever really pan out. He looks to be doing much better. I was kind of doing some research, looking him up a little bit if I mention somebody to Junior and Junior's like, who is that? Then we generally have a conversation and I start telling him a little bit and then we do some research to kind of see where they are now and that kind of thing. This is a common thing in this house. So, but yeah, D'Antonio Wingfield was a really good prospect, just didn't completely work out. This guy's player, his name is Bo Mercer. His player DNA is Matthew Dellavedova. But I don't know how many of y'all remember D'Antonio Wingfield. He more like 5'9", 245. I don't even think Kanye's 5'9", to be honest. I don't know how tall he is, but I would guess 5'7". I'm gonna see, but I would guess he's 5'7". He's 5'8". He's 5'8". I figured he was around in there. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't tall. 5'9", I think he'd be all right. If he was 5'9", I think he'd be, I think he'd be in a better mental space. But because some people, man, can't handle being short. Like, it just bothers them, man. It gets at them, and but some people just like, hey, I'm short, that's cool, but but other people, it don't go right. It don't go right. This is Chris Pitts. This junior made him. He knew he wasn't going to get it right, so he just said he going to go with it and do something different. But his player DNA is Chucky Brown, so he's not a great player. And it's supposed to be Xavier Woods, but that went awry. And it's okay, but it went awry because this is not Xavier Woods at all. This is Cleavon Stone or something. Dude, this is not. That is that. Oh, what up, Constant? Constant invited me to play 2K. Don't know I'm in the stream. For all y'all that don't know who OG Constant is, OG Constant used to run Machinima. He works at 2K now. So that's one of my guys. As a matter of fact, he is one of the biggest reasons that I even ever got anywhere in YouTube at all. It's back in the Machinima days. It was me, Chris Smooth, iPod King Carter. Even back then, that's when KSI was just like, he really helped put KSI on, because KSI's videos were not getting to all of the places that they were getting. Constant really put me and him and other people on. Those guys kept doing YouTube. I started writing and didn't do as much YouTube as them, and it's a lot of reason why theirs blew up much higher than my channel, but we all started around the same time. So Constant is my guy. Little impromptu shout out right there. But I'm not going to be going into the game with him right at this point. But yeah, Xavier should be definitely darker. All right, let's see. All right, Utah Jazz. Now, it's not really Utah Jazz. Now, Mekhi Rogers' player DNA is all-time Magic Tracy McGrady. So, yeah, he got the game, but his ball handling took a severe hit, which is why he's only a 94. Now, his face, though, this didn't work out, so we had to abandon ship and just let it go. But it was supposed to be Jim Brown, the great NFL player. We just went with this, but this dude can play. Like, controlling him is great. He can't do a lot of dribbling, so he lost that in the randomization, but still a beast. This is Breland Vega, who is player DNA is Tom Gugliotta. His face was great NFL running back from the 2000s. He do look like Kobe White. Great. Great. I'm going to text him and tell him what I'm doing. Great NFL running back from the 2000s. Let me see if y'all can guess. I'm about to text my mans here and tell him what the deal is. Let me see if y'all can let me know who that is. Who you think it is, I should say. No guesses on that one. All right, I'm going to let y'all in on this one. I know y'all know who this is. I just probably didn't do a very good job. There you go, Cole. LaDainian Tomlinson. There we go. LT with that ridiculous little touchdown celebration he used to do with the flip. I thought that was so lame. But Breland Vega's a good player. Like I said, his player, Thomas Jones is actually a really good guess. Oh, I got to hook my controller up. Yeah, that's the fade got it. Yes, the fade is what got it. All right, Kyler Mack. I am upset because this player DNA was Derrick Rose, and I wanted him to be fantastic, but the randomization took it away from us. I modeled his face after a great Olympian, black Olympian from Atlanta, from the 1996 games, Charles Austin. I don't know how many different sports y'all pay attention to, but Charles Austin was a gold medalist in the high jump in the 96 Olympics. And so, like I said, I'm trying to diversify the faces. As a matter of fact, his birthday is coming up on December 19th. His birthday is in a week. Look at that. But yeah, I tried to, a couple of different types of looking people, not necessarily the most famous people. I didn't even ask y'all who that was because I knew nobody was going to get that. But yeah, Charles Austin is the Derrick Rose thing, but he still can dunk. He's still fast. Just the ball handling dropped significantly. Ricky Evans. There's a singer that I really dig, and this is supposed to, Junior was making him, it came out okay. But there's a dude I won't say he's a new artist, but it seems like he's just blowing up now. If y'all not up on him and you dig like soul R&B music, you're not up on this dude. His name is Leon Bridges, and he got a song right now called Sweeter that is so fire. It is ridiculous. Sonically, this song is, you ever hear them songs that you can't explain why, when the bass line and the amalgamation of the instruments hit, it like send a chill up your spine. You ever heard a song like that? And sometimes you hear a person's voice that has that kind of quality. This particular song, the music composition in this song kind of has that quality. I'm telling y'all, if you don't know, if you ain't up on Leon Bridges, check that song. He got another one called All About You. He got a song with John Mayer called Inside Friend that's dope. And he's got some other songs too. But yeah, he's one of my favorites of guys who we just kind of came across. So this guy's face is modeled after him. But the player DNA is Domantas Sabonis. And Akeem Roche is, who do we base this guy off of? Okay, now I had to give Junior a whole lesson on who this guy was. Now his player DNA is Michael Porter Jr., so he's good. Michael Porter Jr. has like an 82 or something like that in 2K this year. It's crazy. But I had to give Junior a whole history lesson on this dude. There aren't a lot of famous black rock and roll artists or even personalities. So the first thing you think about when somebody says that probably is Jimi Hendrix. But when I say rock and roll, obviously, like, many people consider Chuck Berry like maybe the father of like modern rock and roll. It just depends on who you ask. But when I say that, especially now, people think of like, first person they think of is Jimi Hendrix. The second person that you think of, that's who Junior was going for with this particular dude. The problem, one of the things is this dude in real life has a massive head. Like his head is like, he has to have the strongest neck in the world. Like, cause the kid, and this is coming from somebody with a big head. So I'm tell you, I understand his plight. This brother, I'm talking about head so hard. You don't understand. To carry the head he got around every day takes in neck fortitude. And he must have it in spades. But this is supposed to be Lenny Kravitz. Now, if you don't know, I'm telling you, if you never noticed the size of Lenny Kravitz's head, just Google a picture of Lenny Kravitz, and you got to see like his full body so you can see in proportion to the rest of him. His head is like shoulder to shoulder almost, man. I'm trying to tell you, and maybe it's because he don't have a neck. I don't know, but this Akeem Roche was supposed to look like Lenny Kravitz, but he also Has the player DNA of Michael Porter Jr. Now here's Lucas Broadhurst. I can't even pronounce the man's name who I modeled him after. He is I think was he a gymnast? I just Googled an athlete because I said I need a famous white athlete that everybody don't know, like off the top of their head, really, really easily. So I got this dude came up in one of my searches. He's a gymnast. He's like one of the greatest ever on the rings. He won a gold medal in 1996 Olympics. I'm gonna try to pronounce his name. And you know what? I'm gonna put his name in the chat, and I'm gonna let y'all see if y'all can pronounce it. Now, if any of y'all are really, really into gymnastics, you might already know who this is. But this is this man's name. Go on ahead and take a stab at it if you got it. But he's one of the greatest gymnasts of all time. If I guess in his country, probably he's from Hungary. He's a Hungarian ringmaster. That's what he is. But in my roster, his name is Lucas Broadhurst. But in real life, he is Sylvester Solani. That's probably right. Sylvester Solani. I bet that I could probably look up a YouTube video and listen to them pronounce his name. That's probably what it is. But Sylvester Solani, because I think they put the surname first for Hungary. I gotta be it, because some places I saw it was Sylvester Solani. Other places I saw it was Solani Sylvester. Either way, I'm probably pronouncing both names wrong, so it doesn't matter. It's Lucas Broadhurst for me. That's who it's going to be. Now, I realized we didn't have a Native American representation, so I had to come through with that. And I didn't want to be too like straight and just automatic with my Native American representation. But for most people, especially if you're talking about athletes, if somebody say Native American, one of the first people you think about is Jim Thorpe. So I made it. He's supposed to look like Jim Thorpe. Junior did this. I thought he did a pretty good job. In my roster, his name is Michael Talley. And I looked up Talley, and Talley actually has a Navajo origin. You learn everything on this channel. It's not just 2K. You getting history. You getting music. You getting it all, man. If you didn't like this video yet, and you better like it. If you didn't subscribe yet, you should do it, because you must like all this extreme nerdum that I am bleeding all over you. Michael Talley, he's a shooter with a last name with Navajo origins. Come on with it. Come on with it. What you know about that? What you know about that? All right, Armando Redmond. What do we got? I don't know who this brother's supposed to be. He look like Reggie Jackson, though. Armando Redmond is supposed to be arguably the greatest soccer player of all time. Pele. But he looked like Reggie Jackson. Junior made him look like Reggie Jackson. He looked like Reggie Jackson with swollen lips, because Reggie Jackson got big lips, but not quite like this. This brother, Armando, looked like he had his lips stuck to 2 flat irons right after his mama got through curling her hair and just went and he let them go, and they both was on fleek, because they black too, so they burnt and swollen. Burnt and swollen lips. Cole Holland, my dog, I appreciate you, bro. I definitely do. I definitely do. But Armando does not appreciate what was done to his lips. Burnt, swollen lips. I think that might be one of the worst combinations anybody has ever had, ever. Burnt, swollen lips. That's different. Burnt, swollen lips that's a difficult thing to overcome. But Armando Redmond's player DNA is DJ Augustine. Then we got Carlos Chaney, whose player DNA is Patty Mills. He was designed to look like Jackie Robinson. Didn't quite. Yeah, it's not horrible, but it's, probably Jackie Robinson's face probably should have been on a better player than Carlos Chaney, but I tried not to try to do that, make it where everybody great was supposed to necessarily be attached to somebody great. Just let it be what it is. All right, here I got one for you guys. This is for current football fans. Young quarterback. That should be all I got to say. His name is Felipe Navarro here. His player DNA is Tim Frazier, but I think you should. Eddie Kane Jr. Nights like this, I wish the raindrops would fall. Eddie Kane, that's my dog, man. Eddie Kane Jr. real name is Michael Wright. That's my dog. That's my dog right there. Yeah, I think everybody ought to get this one. I changed his hair up a little bit just to do a little bit of something, but I told you, young quarterback in the NFL. I think you are. Yes, Tua Tagovailoa. There we go. I'm all over the place, man. All right, we got Jay Wolf, baseball player, and all-time great St. Louis Cardinal, Jay Wolf. Doesn't play for the Cardinals anymore, but the player DNA is Frank Jackson. If you mess with baseball at all, and I just told you that, you ought to know who this is. And then next, Jonathan McNamara. I told Junior to make him look like legendary boxer Gene Tunney. I thought he did okay. Head could be a little bit wider, but it's all good. Player DNA is Michael Thompson, so he is not that great. That's Klay Thompson's dad, but this was an older version of him. I don't know how many of y'all know Klay Thompson's dad was a #1 pick overall in the draft for the Portland Trailblazers. Like, he was a good for real, for real good, like not like play good. But he also, Magic Johnson hated him. They was teammates. I think Magic wrote in his book, he's his all-time least favorite teammate. Like, them dudes did not get along at all. At all. So I don't know exactly why, but I know that they did not get along at all. All right, so this is my last group of people that I've done here. Marley Huff, as we're going into the King era. Definitely Pujols. You are correct, sir. It was Pujols. I almost said P-host. That would have been very wrong. Marley Huff. Where we at on Marley? Marley Huff. Here we go. Supposed to be Miroslav Klose, who was a soccer star. I don't guess nobody would have got that. His player DNA, though, was Rod Strickland. All-time Wizards Rod Strickland, who had game. I think that was Kenny Smith said that Rod Strickland was like the hardest dude he ever had to guard during his time. So that's actually pretty high praise considering some of the people that Kenny Smith played against. So that's that. Prince Reese. This is one of my favorite names in the whole joint. I can't remember. I don't think I modeled him after nobody, to be honest. I think I just made him however I made him. But his player DNA is George McGinnis. Problem is, he didn't get hardly any badges. But George McGinnis was a beast, an animal, but he got 4 badges. He's still a good player, just didn't get a ton of badges. But as you can look at him and tell, he looks different than most of the other players. Here's a tip for anybody who creates a lot of rosters. They only got so many black guys to start with. They only have so many white guys to start with. They only have so many Asian guys to start with. What I would advise you to do, if you want to make sure that you have some diversity in the players that you create, is to make sure that you are make sure that you start some of them off as, like, if you know you're gonna make a black guy, start him off as a white guy and then just kind of change the features, and vice versa. If you know you're gonna make a white guy, start him off as a black guy and change his features. Same thing for every race, because where the differences come in is in head shape, eye and eye size, and that can change drastically the way the guy looks. So this guy started off as a white guy, and of course I just changed all the features, and now you can't really tell that he was ever a white guy because all the features that make him look African American are there, and you get the same thing when you start from a black model and go to a white model. I know sometimes if you're doing this, you Wow. That don't even shock me actually, but that is something, Sir Jam. Yeah, that actually doesn't shock me though. Holland was moving in that direction and Jacare is moving in that direction, so that actually doesn't shock me at all. But yeah, if that's just one thing to definitely keep in mind. Here's Ahmad Holt, who honestly, I don't even think I modeled him after nobody. Oh, yes, I did. I started off going for Derek Jeter, and then I just changed it. But his player DNA was Isaiah Ryder. He doesn't have any defense at all, really. But offensively, he got that boom. It's ridiculous. The dribbles, the three, the dunking, because he already had the Isaiah Ryder dunking, but the randomization gave him some three love as well. This is one of my favorite people that Junior created because he looks just like a totally different kind of little dude. There's nobody else that we created that looks like him. And his name is Callum McFarland. His player DNA is Cole Anthony. And he's got crazy handles, hops. He can shoot. Defense is not there. But on the court, he looks real cool and just real different. So I dig that for sure. Here's Alexander Gallegos, who is Wilson Cordero, a baseball player. Oh, you said how he did it, Will. Okay. Yeah, Wilson Cordero is a baseball player. Used to play for the White Sox. Not anymore. Junior did this one. I think this is a real dope little creation that he did. And like I said, his player DNA is Malcolm Brogdon. I didn't say that, but that's what I meant to say. Here's Archie Bray. Archie Bray's player DNA is John Paxson. He was supposed to look like Michael Schumacher, the F1 mogul and former driver, pretty much the Michael Jordan of Formula One racing. Didn't turn out that way. He ended up switching it up. Dude ain't that good anyway. Do you realize the 88, 89 ratings on John Paxson on 2K are just like, they didn't give him much love at all on the three. And I understand that he only shot like 33, 34% from three at that time, but they were generous in the ratings for some players, like assuming that, yes, if they played during this time, they would be like this. But they didn't do it for certain guys. And I was like, John Paxson, if you don't give John Paxson a 3, then you might as well not even put him in 2K because he's going to be worthless, because that's really all, so I don't know what that was about. Here's Paul Lacey. His player DNA is Kevin Huerta, or Kevin Harder. I don't even know how you say that kid's name, but Kevin Huerta. He's supposed to be the great running back Earl Campbell, which I think Junior did a pretty good job right here. Also looked like the big bad wolf or somebody. I don't know, but Junior give somebody some big burnt lips in a minute, though, won't he? Gee whiz. Man, I just realized that. Every time we get somebody with some burnt, crispy lips, Junior made them. So he definitely. Yeah, he does have long. He's just such a goofy. That's the thing about Holland that always turned me off. I'm like, dude, all this goofy stuff you're doing is irritating. Like, I just want you to get out of here and fight. But, this is Dylan Nava. Dylan Nava, this is like one of my last guys. I didn't model him after anybody. His player DNA was the rookie Devin Vassell, who I'm really interested in seeing for the San Antonio Spurs. He played his first game tonight. I saw a little bit of what happened in the first half with him. Doesn't surprise me how he played. He was a teammate of my Bulls rookie, Patrick Williams, at Florida State. But Devin Vassell has D. He's a 3-and-D guy, long, loves to defend. And playing over there in San Antonio, I'm really kind of like excited about seeing what he can be. This is Shakinde Thompson. Player DNA is Andre Roberson. We started this off trying to make him look like Joe Frazier, but we had too many people with that same Joe Frazier kind of hairstyle, so we changed that up. Came out pretty good. I think not pretty good like looks like Joe Frazier, but just pretty good overall. I think my man got on some Peaks. I think that's like some Klay Thompson peak. Boy, them some bad shoes. These is bad. This is like something you wear to school and all of the kids talk about you because you got on some Peaks. No, he got these are Matthew Delavedova. This boy got on some Delavedovas. No, he don't. He got on some Delavedovas. How do you go someplace and tell somebody you got on some Delavedovas? There it is. There it is. All right, Harvey Mahoney. Player DNA is Mike Scott Jr. was supposed to be making him look like Mario Lemieux. He looks like somebody else. But he ended up changing it up because he saw Mario Lemieux wasn't coming in good, so he changed it up. I don't know what kind of shoes he got on either. Are those? What are those? What are those? Oh, these are. Oh, I couldn't even tell. Oh, you know what? I couldn't see the Jordan emblem. Okay, I see. These are not one of my favorite Jordan designs, though. Shermonte Bain is player DNA is Jake Layman. If y'all didn't know, Jake Layman throws it down. He throws it down. So he's got that going for him. He got on the Jordan 2s. These are still like my favorite Jordans. I don't like the low top versions too much, but one thing, you see some crazy colorways on some of these shoes that don't even exist because they match the colorway with the team colors. So sometimes you see some like there's one of the players wears 2s, but they're in lime green. So that's like crazy. Here's Shamil Hines, the only other guy we gave the little part in his head. It's supposed to look like Bo Jackson, but we changed the hairstyle. Jalen Leck is his player DNA. Jalen Leck is the jumpingest kid you ever gonna see. That's it. So that was the last guy. So we created all of that. So we have to create players to fill up how many more teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 more teams we got to fill up. So I think we've done 11. Our goal is to like basically create two teams per day. If we do that, 19 teams, that's about 10 days, a little over a week. That runs right into about where the NBA season starts. So it's definitely a grind. I don't know how many of y'all we saw that saw the court that I created. That was in the last video. If you did not see that yet, I'll go in real quick and take a look, give you a look at that. It's not going to show. It's not going to show it's not going to show as clearly as I'd like it to show. But one thing I do want to do though, I'm not going to show you guys this in totality, but I am going to show you just a little bit of what it looks like when I create a player. So you'll see kind of what I do, right? So the next guy that I'm creating is going to be Hiram Rich, right? So I didn't show you this guy yet at all. So I'm gonna just show you the process. So I did a randomization thing, and the first guy that came up was Lucius Allen. So this player is going to be based on Lucius Allen. So that's where he's going to start, right? So this is the face they gave me at first, but we're not going to use that face. So I'll go to the 70-71 Bucks because that's the team that he's on. And I go down to Lucius Allen and import attributes, keep appearance. So that means keep the face that I have, but take Lucius Allen's attributes. So they're going to give me all of his ratings, all of his tendencies, all of his badges to start off, but I'm going to have to get his age, which I didn't take note of. So let me go back and look and see what that was. I don't know why they don't put the age in, but they should, but they don't. So Lucius Allen is 23. So all right, we're going to keep it with that. So I go up here and I put in his name, the name that I have, which most of these names I used another randomization tool to do that. Some of them I made up just on my own. Can't even remember where I got this one from. But Hiram Rich, I don't even know. So sometimes I change my mind. Like, so if Rich is not in here, then I just go with something that is. So we'll go with Richards. I don't really change the nickname unless, like, 'cause sometimes by default, they'll give you a woman's nickname. So dudes will be like Countess or something. So I changed that. So all right, so we got this base is Lucius Allen. So then the first thing I do, I built an actual wheel, y'all. I built a wheel. It's like a wheel of names and a wheel of different all these. So this is, you know, how I do the randomization thing. It you know, it just it helps to kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. It helps to make sure that you have like the diversity that you're trying to have in the when you do a fantasy roster. So let me see something. Let me see if I can get this. This is going to be the first time I've done this like this, so hopefully it works. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I built this out for all of the different things that I would try to do, right? So I need to get, let me see something. I need to get his height because I don't have his height. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. This is not the right one because it's not set for, wait a minute, yes it is. It's set for his position. So it came up, I did the wheel. It tells me he is 6'4". So even though Lucius Allen is whatever size he is, I'm going to make him 6'4". All right. And the weight, the way I do like the weight, it depends on what like their strength level is. So if it's got a guy who gets a lot of strength, I make it basically come off to look the right way on the screen with the character or whatever. So I put the height in. We did that part. I usually already have done the appearance by now, but I won't do that yet because that's not as big of a deal. I kind of want to show you guys how I come up with the attributes, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how I take 5 categories, right? And I say I'm going to do 5 different categories and randomize those categories. This makes sure that I don't get an exact duplicate of what this guy was, Lucius Allen, right? So I have every single attribute in the game plugged in here as a randomization. And so I hit draw again and it tells me which 5 I'm going to get. So we're going to get random, pass vision, driving, dunk, speed, acceleration, and layup. The bottom 4, if he gets bad ratings for any of that, just about, he going to be dead, especially as a guard, right? So we go to the next window that I have up, which tells me what those ratings are going to be. Now, this totals is from the last one I did, so I got to hit draw again. So this is going to make or break Hiram Richards right now. What do we get? And yeah, that's not, layup is terrible. Driving dunk doesn't matter that much. His speed it's not that bad. 80-81, layup is a 64. So yeah, it's, you know, it's could be much better to say the least. But so I go ahead and I put that in because that's what it is. So pass vision, his pass vision is terrible though. For a guard, that's going to be bad. But if you're controlling him, then that doesn't come into play as much because you're controlling when that goes on. But if he's a CPU controlled player, he's gonna have a problem. But his driving dunk was only a 50 anyway, so he went up to a 59 there, and his speed is a 80, and that was a 82 to begin with, so he didn't lose much there. And then his acceleration is a 81, and it was a 82 anyway, so he doesn't lose much there. But that layup is probably going to be a problem. The layup drops from a 85 to a 64. So he definitely got worse, even though he got bigger. All right, so the next thing that I do after I do that, so we've already changed him. He's not the same guy anymore. So like I said, I try to randomize everything. So now we're going to jump shots. So I got all of the jump shots loaded in here. So we go to guard lower base. This whole wheel has every possible jump shot base you can get from anybody who is shorter than 6'10", because there's only two different jump shot bases that they set you up for in 2K, 6'10" and taller and 6'10" and under. So it's either one of those two. Once you get to be 6'10", you don't have access to some jump shot bases. But if you're 6'10" and under, you have access to all the jump shot bases. These are all things that I learned during this project. So, all right, so I do this thing. This tells me what his base is going to be. Now, if I wasn't talking to you guys through it, I'd be flying through this because this is how I've learned to do it. So his jump shot base is a 68. I'm not looking at the chat right at this second, so I'm going to come back and see what y'all said. I'm going to see if y'all are like, Brian, you're out of your mind, and I just want you to know that. Or if I'm going to see if you guys are saying, wow, this is something. All right, so now we're going to his upper release. Same thing. Like I said, all of that's loaded in here. And his upper release is a 151. So I don't know who those people are or whatever that is, but I'll show you what this came out to once I drop this off the screen. Upper release, not too bad. I'll show you in a second what it looks like. All right, so we did that. And now we go to badges, which is badges is kind of the more complicated thing that I do here. I don't touch the personality badges because that changes the emotes of the player. And so their emotes and their like whatever on floor personality stays similar to what you know, their player DNA guy would have had. So here I do draw again. 30 badges. Now, he's not necessarily going to have 30 badges. And here's the thing. I associate all the badges with whatever the skill level is, right? So if I have all of the badges loaded in here, so if it says that he gets posterizer, but he doesn't have a dunk rating to justify it, then I don't give him the badge. But if it says that they have a badge and the dunk rating is a 70, then I'll give them a bronze. If it's a 75, I'll give them a silver. If it's an 80, I give them a gold. If it's an 85 and up, I give them a Hall of Fame badge in that particular category. Some of the badges are mixed up between two different skill levels. So like circus threes is a combination of the ball handling and the 3-point rating. Rhythm shooter is ball handling, 3-point shooting, and mid-range shot. So it's all like that. So I know more about 2K. I already knew a lot, but I know more about 2K right now than I think I've ever known, period, about every aspect of it. Because in learning how these ratings and the badges work, I've learned a ton about Park and Pro-Am too, because some of this stuff translates. So we do that. I won't show you how I put all the badges or what he ended up getting, but these are the 30 random badges that he has a possibility of getting. Probably won't get it all, or I definitely won't get them all, but these are the 30 that he has the possibility of getting. And then that's it. And then that's one player. So like I said, if I wasn't like guiding you guys through it and everything, I would have done it quicker. But that's essentially my process for creating a player. So I know y'all are probably like, dude, this is crazy. But yes, that's how I do it. So let me see what you guys said. He said, my bad if I'm spanning, this has to be the most interesting investment I've watched. I appreciate that, B-Mac. I really do, man, because I already know that what I'm doing is extreme nerdum. But I said, you know what, bro? We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm finna embrace it and do what I'm doing. And that's just it. I'm just gonna do what I'm doing, and I ain't even gonna worry about nothing else, you know. This is in where my job situation is anyway. I cover sports video games for Forbes. I cover the Patriots and the Bulls for heavy.com. So it's all kind of mixed in together, and this is just something that I do on the side that in addition to my primary sources of income. And so I'm blessed enough to work from home. So this is also something I can do from home. And that's just kind of the way I do it. And because I'm doing it with my son, it just gives me an opportunity to kind of just be able to share this and do this with him. Normally he would be with me. He's not now because I actually pay him to be my editor and all of that stuff for YouTube and to work on this project with me. It's just my way to kind of give him a little bit of a responsibility in this whole thing and set him up to kind of pass things on to him if he wants to do it. But he works Monday through Friday, so he has an option as to whether or not to be on the streams on the weekends. And he is playing Park right now with his boys, the only two of his friends who also have PS5. So he is playing Park right now, so that's why he's not in the stream, but he'll be back next week. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, Layman was nice in college. He said, did you ever get the X or did you stay with the S? I only got the S because I'm gonna be honest with you, Sir Jam, ever since I got the 5, I think I've turned on the Xbox Series X 3 times. So no slight on it. It's just not the same, you know. Elijah says, are you and Junior going to play the all-star activities in the season or just leave it alone altogether? No, if we have players in there, we definitely going to do it. We actually talked about that too. And he says, are you going to shorten the season down? Yes. So we're only going to do 29 games. You know, I think that's one of the shortest ones you can do. We're going to do 29 games. We're going to give a chance to play, at least play every team or whatever. But yeah, we're not going on 82 because we already know we would never finish that. So, but yeah, it's a crazy in-depth little system that I built. I know my son look at me sometimes like, Dad, what in the world do you got me involved with right now? But he appreciates it too, because he knows that both of us are blessed. You know what I'm saying? We both blessed. We're blessed to, you know, that we both do have similar interest. Because some people, man, struggle like I don't know what to find some kind of connection with their father, connection with their mother, connection period with somebody. And you know what I'm saying? We got this, so it's cool. You know what I mean? MyNBA is definitely flawed, got some stuff it needs to fix, and hopefully it gets it done. So me and little fella can go ahead and finish this project up and share it with everybody else. But that's what it is, man. You know, so I appreciate everybody that watched me go through this process. The next video is going to be Junior and I in a little pickup game using some of these characters. I'm going to let him pick his 5, maybe even a full squad, because we might go and take it to an actual play now court instead of a blacktop. And we're going to do, you know, see what we can do. It might not even be a stream. It might just be highlights like the last one. Well, we'll see. But I appreciate everybody who came through and watched. Everybody who spent this time with me, rocking with me. It's 90 people watching. I didn't even realize there was that many people. I wasn't even paying attention. But I appreciate all y'all. Make sure you like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. But yeah, my channel for right now, man. I'm just dedicating it all to finishing up this project. I'm gonna share it with everybody. Hopefully, other people will, you know, get some enjoyment out of it. I'm sure people will change the roster up. Something they don't like about it, they'll change. But it is what it is. I appreciate y'all watching, of course. God bless and peace.